Okay, so today we're going outside.
Ooh, outside.
Yeah, well, in spirit anyway.
Okay, I'm with you.
We're going to be exploring, spending time in nature. You know, something that I think we all just know is good for us.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But get this, our starting point is actually this how-to guide.
How-to guide.
Yeah, for English learners.
Interesting.
So, you know, you might be thinking, English language guide, really? For a deep dive.
Right, like where are we going with this?
But here's the thing, this guide is so simple that it actually reveals these like really fundamental reasons why getting outside is so beneficial.
Like stripping away all the complexity, huh?
Exactly, it just cuts right to the chase.
I like it.
Okay,
All right.
So we're not giving an English lesson today, but we're using this guide as like a springboard to really dive into the core advantages of outdoor activities.
Okay, so we're talking about like how it affects us physically, mentally.
Yeah, and even our social connections.
I'm intrigued. Let's do it.
So, you know, our listener, you might be listening to this because you need that extra push to get outside.
That's me sometimes.
Or maybe you already love being outside and you want to be able to explain like why it's so good.
Yeah, articulate those benefits, right?
Right, or maybe you're just curious about like the science behind that feeling you get.
Like, why do I feel so good after I've been in the fresh air?
Exactly. So let's jump in and see what this guide has to say.
All right, let's unpack it.
So right off the bat, this English learner guide, it starts with building vocabulary.
Which makes sense,
Yeah.
right? You got to have the words to talk about it.
For sure. And it's important for everyone, not just for people learning English. I mean, having the right words helps you understand your experiences.
Totally, and then you can actually communicate them, you know, to other people.
Yeah. So this guide breaks down the vocabulary into these nice, neat categories. And the first one is types of activities.
All right, so what kind of activities are we talking about?
Well, it lists hiking,
Hiking.
camping, jogging, cycling, gardening, swimming, and picnicking.
Okay, so pretty good range there. A good mix.
Right. And even just hearing those words, I feel like you can almost like sense the different vibes.
Totally. Yeah, like hiking, I'm thinking about like, you know, the physical challenge.
Right. Or camping, unplugging from technology.
Yeah, love that.
And what's interesting is how each of those activities like taps into different aspects of like our well-being.
So it's not just like a generic being outside is good. It's more nuanced than that.
Right. Like jogging, for instance.
Yeah.
That's all about cardio.
Definitely getting your heart rate up.
But then cycling, that has that element of exploration, you know?
Yeah, you're seeing new places.
And then even something like gardening, which seems pretty low-key.
Yeah, much more chill.
Right, but it gives you that chance to like unwind and connect with nature in a really hands-on way.
I like that hands-on, yeah.
Then the guide moves on to benefits, and it highlights all the physical health gains, you know, things like increased strength, better fitness levels, and that burst of energy you get.
I definitely feel that.
But then there's the mental health side too.
Which, let's be honest, is just as important these days.
Huge. Yeah, that sense of peace, you know, just calmness, happiness that we often find when we're outside.
And then there's stress relief.
Oh my gosh. Yes, huge. One, less anxiety.
Yeah, just feeling more grounded.
And we can't forget the social benefits.
Right, because it's not just about you being out there by yourself.
Exactly. It's about building friendships, teamwork, strengthening those bonds.
Like a team hike.
Yes, exactly. And then finally, that feeling of being rejuvenated, you know, like you've recharged.
More lively, refreshed, like you can take on the world.
Exactly. And it's interesting when you think about the bigger picture, all of those categories, they're kind of woven together.
How so?
Well, the specific activity that you choose,
Right.
it's going to directly impact, you know, the benefits you experience and even how you feel afterwards.
So it's all connected.
Exactly. Okay, so the guide also gives us this list of nature words.
Nature words.
Yeah, you know, forest, mountain, lake, beach, sunlight, fresh air.
Okay, so like the setting for the activities.
Right, and having those words helps us describe, you know, those places.
So we can share our experiences more vividly.
Exactly. And then, of course, it lists emotions and feelings.
Yeah, so for sure. So how are we feeling when we're out there?
Well, relaxed, excited, refreshed, happy, you know, the usual suspects.
Those good vibes, yeah.
But what I found really insightful is how the guide includes this practice tip.
A practice kit, okay.
Yeah, right at the beginning. And it suggests that you pair an activity with a benefit and a feeling.
Interesting. Okay, so give me an example.
Like hiking improves my cardiovascular health and makes
So-
me feel invigorated.
Okay, I like that it's simple, but it connects everything together.
Exactly. And it's a great way for you, our listener, to like start being more mindful of your own outdoor experiences.
Totally. Like, okay, when I do this, how do I actually feel?
Right. So we've got this foundation of vocabulary. Now, what's next?
So the next step is mastering key sentence structures.
To talk about those benefits.
Exactly. And, this is part of the English learning guide, but honestly, having clear sentence structures is important for everyone.
Oh, for sure. It helps you communicate better no matter what language you're speaking.
Right. So how does this guide break it down?
Well, it starts with those basic subject, verb, object sentences.
Like the building blocks.
Yeah, like I enjoy swimming.
Okay. Simple and straightforward.
Right. Then it builds on that by connecting an activity to its benefit.
So like swimming is good exercise.
Exactly. And then it adds in the why, the reason.
Okay. So that would be, I swim because it's refreshing.
Exactly. Simple but powerful. And then it shows you how to combine those elements.
Right. So like a more complex sentence.
Right. Like I love cycling because it keeps me fit, or gardening helps me feel grounded.
Okay. Yeah. I could see how those are more descriptive.
And what's important to understand is that those basic structures, those are just the starting point.
Okay. So where do we go from there?
Well, once you're comfortable with them, you can start adding details and make your descriptions, more interesting.
Got it. So let's add some layers.
Right. And that's exactly what the guide shows us next, how to enrich our language with adjectives and adverbs.
Oh yeah, those descriptive words.
So instead of just saying air makes me feel good,
Which is kind of bland.
right, we can say fresh air makes me feel good.
Okay, much better.
Or instead of I feel better after a run, we can say I usually feel much better after a brisk run.
Yeah, brisk run. That paints a picture.
And then combining them, you can get these really evocative descriptions like the majestic mountains made our hike unforgettable.
Oh, I love that one.
Or, I happily swam in the crystal clear lake.
Okay, I can picture it.
And the guide also emphasizes using connecting words like because, since, or as to really state the reasons.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just stating the fact, but explaining the why.
Right, like I go camping because it helps me disconnect from technology.
Oh yeah, that's a big one for me.
Or, since walking is easy on my joints, I do it every day.
Makes sense.
Or, as nature is inherently calming, I feel more relaxed outdoors.
So it's like a cause and effect relationship.
Exactly, and this is so important because it gives you the tools to explain why these activities are valuable to you personally.
It's more than just saying, I like to be outside.
Right, you're explaining the specific reasons you know the outcomes.
Yeah, like why it matters to you.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got the vocabulary, the sentence structures. Now let's get into the specific benefits.
All right, let's break it down by category.
So first up, physical health.
Okay, that's a big one.
The guide gives us these helpful phrases like, it boosts my stamina, it helps me maintain a healthy weight, it strengthens my core muscles.
Okay, all good stuff.
And then it gives us concrete examples like, when I go for a long hike, I build cardiovascular endurance and burn a significant number of calories.
So it's not just vague, it's specific.
Right. And another example is cycling regularly not only improves my leg strength, but also contributes to a healthier heart.
Okay, so we're connecting the activity to the actual physical results.
Exactly. And if we think about you, our listener,
Yeah.
what are your health and fitness goals?
Right, like what are you trying to achieve?
Because these examples show how getting outside can be, a fun and effective way to exercise.
It's not all about the gym.
Right. It could be exploring trails, cycling, being out in the fresh air and sunshine.
I much prefer that to being stuck inside.
Okay, so next up, mental health, which is, crucial in our busy lives.
Absolutely, we all need a little bit of peace.
The guide suggests phrases like, it helps me declutter my mind. It alleviates my anxiety. It fosters a sense of tranquility.
I love that last one, tranquility.
Right, and the examples, they really bring it to life, like, after spending time walking in the woods, I feel a significant reduction in my stress levels.
I can relate to that.
Or gardening provides me with a sense of focus and accomplishment, which is incredibly calming.
Yeah, there's something so grounding about being in the garden.
Right, and I think a lot of us have felt that, that mental clarity after being in nature.
Absolutely, and it shows, that deep connection between our mental well-being and the natural world.
Right, being outdoors, it's not just a leisure activity, it's a way to manage stress, improve your mood.
Yeah, like a tool for mental health.
And there's actually science behind this. Studies show that being in nature lowers your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So it's not just like a feeling, it's a real thing.
Oh, okay. Fascinating.
Next up, the social benefits.
All right, so being outside with others.
The guide gives us phrases like, it's a fantastic way to connect with others. I've met some wonderful people through outdoor clubs. It deepens the bonds I have with my friends.
Okay, all about connection.
And the examples are really great, like going camping with a group of friends creates lasting memories and strengthens our relationship.
Oh yeah, camping trips are the best for bonding.
Or Playing team sports outdoors like soccer helps me build camaraderie and connect with others who share my interests.
Right, so finding your people.
Exactly, and it highlights how outdoor activities can kind of create this social fabric.
Because you're sharing these experiences.
Yeah, whether it's that mutual support you get during a tough hike or just the simple joy of sharing a picnic.
Right, it's about those shared moments.
And finally, the guide touches on environmental benefits, which are becoming more and more important to a lot of us.
For sure. Yeah, we need to take care of our planet.
So it gives us phrases like, it fosters a greater appreciation for the natural world. Choosing active transport options reduces my environmental impact. Being outdoors makes me more aware of conservation efforts.
Okay, so connecting our actions to the environment.
And then the examples are things like cycling to work instead of driving helps lower carbon emissions.
Yeah, making sustainable choices.
Or hiking through diverse ecosystems highlights the importance of protecting these natural habitats.
So it's like you're seeing firsthand why we need to protect these places.
And this is such a key point because, being in nature, it can really cultivate a deeper understanding and respect for the environment.
And that can translate to more sustainable behaviors, in other areas of your life.
Exactly. It's like this positive feedback loop. You benefit from nature, and then that motivates you to protect it.
I love that idea.
Okay, so we've got the vocabulary, the sentence structures, we've explored the benefits. Now the guide gets into adding some personality to our language.
Ooh, personality. Tell me more.
So we're talking about using idioms and phrasal verbs.
Okay, so that's where things get a little less formal, a little more fun.
Right, and these idioms and phrasal verbs, they really capture meaning in a concise way,
Yeah, they're like these little bundles of meaning.
Exactly. So the guide gives us some great examples for idioms. We have blow off steam.
Blow off steam?
Which means to release pent-up energy or stress, like, after a demanding day at work, I often go for a jog to blow off steam.
I definitely do that.
Then there's in the fresh air.
In the fresh air.
Which simply means outdoors, like, I always feel more invigorated when I spend time in the fresh air.
Simple but effective.
And then we have recharge your batteries.
Recharge your battery.
Meaning to restore your energy. Like, a weekend camping trip in the mountains really helps me recharge my batteries.
That's a good one.
So these idioms, they just add a layer of, informal expression.
And it makes you sound more like a native speaker.
Totally. And the phrasal verbs are just as valuable.
Right, let's hear them.
So we have workout, meaning to exercise, like, I try to work out by cycling several times a week.
Okay, work out.
Then wind down, meaning to relax, like, gardening in the evening helps me wind down before bed.
Wind down, yeah.
And catch up, meaning to spend time and converse with someone, like, we often catch up with friends over a picnic in the park.
Okay, catch up.
And these phrasal verbs, they're so common in everyday English.
Yeah, you hear them all the time.
So incorporating them into your vocabulary can really enhance your fluency.
It's like adding those finishing touches.
Right. It's like adding spices to your cooking. It makes it more flavorful.
I like that analogy.
Okay, so we've talked about the language. Now the guide actually gets into the practical side of conversations,
Oh, so how to actually talk about these things.
Exactly, how to navigate conversations about outdoor activities with confidence. Because it's not just about knowing the words, it's about knowing how to use them.
Right, like having those conversational skills.
And the guide breaks it down into how to start, maintain, and even end those conversations.
Okay, so a complete guide to outdoor conversations.
So for starting a conversation, it suggests asking those open-ended questions like, do you enjoy spending time outdoors?
Okay, pretty easy.
Or sharing your own opinion, like, I find hiking to be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, putting it out.
Or inviting others to share, what are some of your favorite outdoor activities?
So just simple ways to get people talking.
Exactly. And for keeping the conversation going, the guide recommends active listening, adding your own details and asking follow-up questions.
So you're engaged, you're not just passively listening.
Right, like agreeing, I totally agree. Being close to nature is so calming.
Okay, showing that you're on the same page.
Or adding a detail. Yes, and I find it's also a great way to discover local wildlife.
Okay, adding to the conversation.
And then asking a follow-up, have you explored any new trails recently?
So you're showing genuine interest.
Exactly, and you're keeping the conversation going.
That's like a tennis match, you're hitting the ball back and forth.
I like that. And let's not forget about ending a conversation gracefully.
Right, because you don't want it to just trail off.
Exactly. So the guide suggests summarizing the main points. So it sounds like we both find a lot of value in spending time outdoors.
Okay, bringing it all together.
Or suggesting a future interaction. Maybe we could plan a hike together sometime.
Okay, I like that one.
And then using polite closing remarks like, oh, it's been great chatting about this.
So ending on a positive note.
And these are all just practical strategies for ending a conversation, in a way that feels good.
And it shows that you were actually listening.
Now, the guide also talks about something really important, which is adapting your language to different situations.
Oh, right, because how you talk to your friends is different from how you talk in a more formal setting.
Exactly. The level of formality really influences your word choice, your sentence structure, even your tone.
So like code switching.
Right. So in a casual conversation with friends, the guide points out you might use more informal language, even some slang like, I love hitting the trails. It's so chill and good for my head.
Yeah, that's definitely how I talk to my friends.
Or getting some outdoor time is just the best for unwinding.
Keep it casual.
But then in a more formal setting, like a presentation, you would use clearer, more precise language. No slang.
Okay, so more professional.
Like engaging in outdoor recreational activities offers significant benefits for both physical and mental health.
Okay, a little bit more wordy.
Or these activities contribute effectively to our overall well-being.
Yeah, and the tone is more serious.
Right. And then when it comes to writing like an essay, the guide suggests using connecting words and phrases.
So make it flow.
Right, like firstly, furthermore, moreover, for instance, and you'd provide more detailed explanations and evidence.
So it's more structured.
Like, for instance, studies have indicated that exposure to natural light can positively influence our circadian rhythms.
Okay, very academic.
And understanding these different registers of language is so important for effective communication.
It's about knowing your audience.
Exactly, and tailoring your language to fit the situation.
So we're chameleons.
Okay, so the guide also talks about some common challenges that anyone might face, not just English learners.
Oh, like what kind of challenges?
Well, one common one is forgetting a word.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me all the time.
And the guide suggests using more general terms as a fallback. Like that activity, the one where you walk in the forest.
Okay, so describing it.
Right. Or it's when you go for long walks in nature for enjoyment.
So you're getting the meaning across even if you don't know the exact word.
Exactly. Another potential hurdle is pronunciation.
Oh yeah, some of those words can be tricky.
The guide specifically mentions hiking and relaxed as words that some people might find difficult.
Hiking and relaxed. Okay.
And it recommends listening to native speakers, to get the pronunciation right.
That's a good tip.
And finally, there's the issue of confidence.
Which is huge, I think.
And the guide encourages you to start small. Maybe just talking to yourself about your experiences.
Okay, so like practicing in a safe space.
Exactly. And remembering that making mistakes is part of the process.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Right. Even native speakers mess up sometimes.
True.
The key is to just keep practicing and not let fear hold you back.
Yeah, don't be afraid to speak up.
Now, the guide also gets into some interesting cultural nuances, pointing out that different English-speaking cultures might have different ways of valuing or talking about outdoor activity.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It notes that in some cultures, there might be this huge emphasis on the physical challenge, like, we conquered that mountain.
Okay, so very achievement-oriented.
But then in other cultures, it might be more about the peaceful, restorative aspects, like a gentle stroll in the countryside can be quite therapeutic.
Okay, so more low-key.
And being aware of those potential differences can really help you connect with people from different backgrounds.
It's all about understanding and respect.
And the guide wisely cautions against making generalizations. Just because you love something doesn't mean everyone else does.
Right, like not everyone is a hiker.
So instead of assuming like everyone loves going to the beach.
Which isn't true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better to ask open questions like, do you enjoy spending time by the sea?
So you're being more inclusive.
Exactly. And you're respecting individual preferences.
Good advice.
And these cultural insights, they really show how language and culture are intertwined.
Yeah, you can't separate them.
And understanding those nuances can really make your communication more effective and sensitive, especially across cultural boundaries.
Like a cultural bridge.
So to wrap up our deep dive today,
Time to come back inside.
we started with this simple English language guide.
Right, which seemed a little unexpected.
But it actually gave us this really comprehensive look at the many benefits of being outdoors.
For our bodies, our minds, our social lives.
Exactly. And as the guide highlights, having the vocabulary and the confidence to talk about those benefits, it makes your own experiences richer.
Yeah, you can really appreciate it more.
And it allows you to connect with other people who share that passion.
It's like finding your tribe.
So for you, our listener, we'll leave you with this thought. How can you weave even small moments of outdoor time into your routine?
Yeah, like little bits throughout the day.
And what positive effects could that have on your life?
Makes you think.
And maybe inspired by our conversation today, you might reach out to someone and just start a conversation about your favorite way to experience nature.
I love that idea, spreading the outdoor love.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, so, you guys have sent in some really interesting stuff lately.
Yeah.
Like a ton of material.
Yeah.
Really focused on like the whole science of confidence thing.
Yeah.
And we want to try to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Really extract the core insights from all that stuff and
Yeah, absolutely.
really give you guys the most useful takeaways, the things you can really use
Practical stuff, right?
to kind of, amp up your own self-belief.
Right. We're going way beyond just think positive.
Yeah, right.
This article really digs into the actual these psychological and neurological mechanisms that actually create confidence.
Right.
It's really about understanding how this stuff works.
Yeah.
Like the nuts and bolts of believing in yourself.
So right off the bat, the article gives us a really solid, foundation. Forget the image of some puffed up braggy
person.
Totally
Not what we're talking.
True confidence is they define it is this realistic trust in your own abilities. Absolutely. Your resilience and your inherent worth.
Yeah, and they make this really interesting distinction between self-confidence, which is that overall sense of I'm good, I'm cool,
I got this,
and then self-efficacy, which is more about your confidence in specific tasks.
Oh, that's a good distinction.
Yeah,
because you might feel confident overall.
Totally.
But
but then when it comes to public speaking or
whatever
certain things,
what specific area,
you're
oh
nope, not that one.
Right.
And
and then also the other way around too.
Yeah.
You might be
right,
really good at something,
super skilled at something, I'm a killer artist.
Yeah, but just in general,
Right. You feel great about yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's interesting because they make this point that this isn't just a fixed state.
Right.
You're either confident or you're not.
You're not just born with it or without it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like a personality setting.
Yeah. And they talk about, there was this 2018 study that linked self-confidence to how emotionally stable you are. If you're more outgoing and extroverted.
Right.
But it also made it clear that your experiences make a huge difference. The support you get past successes.
Right.
It's this interplay between what's going on inside you and what you encounter in the world.
So it's
dynamic. Right.
It's not just
it's not set in stone.
Yeah. You can change it.
Which is a good thing.
Right. That's the exciting part.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
So our mission here for this deep dive is to really
let's get under the hood.
Yeah, get under the hood
of this whole science.
Yeah.
And figure out what are the things people can actually do to build that confidence muscle.
So where do we start with this, scientific exploration?
So the article starts off with the psychology of confidence.
Okay.
And they bring up this guy, Albert Bandura.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a big name in psychology.
Right.
And he came up with this idea of self-efficacy.
Yeah.
Which is a real driver of motivation and behavior.
Yeah.
And he basically said there are these 4 key sources that fuel self-efficacy.
Okay, so this is
and they're really insightful. You can really use these to understand how to build your own confidence.
So the first one?
The first one is called mastery experiences.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
So basically when you achieve something, even if it seems small, your brain's hey, you did it. It lays down this little marker that says you can do this.
Like a mental calorie.
Yes, it's like you're leveling up in a video game.
I like that.
Right? Every time you succeed, you get these experience points.
Right.
And it all adds up
yeah,
to this confidence score.
So not
for that particular thing.
Yeah. Like making huge leaps.
Exactly.
It's the accumulation.
It's the small wins
right,
that add up over time.
Yeah.
So your brain's like, hey,
you can do this.
Look at all this evidence.
This track record.
Right. I'm competent.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Okay, what's the second one?
So the second one's called vicarious learning.
Okay. So that's like...
Which is basically...
watching other people.
Yeah. Looking at people who are like you.
Right.
And seeing them succeed.
Right. And thinking, if they can do it...
Exactly.
I can do it.
It's like, if they could figure that out...
Yeah.
Maybe I have that in me too.
Totally. So like role models are important.
Super important.
Right.
Because when you see someone...
Yeah.
doing something you want to do.
Yeah.
And succeeding.
Right.
It makes it feel more real.
Right. Less abstract.
Right. It's not just this abstract idea.
Right.
It's like, oh,
real person.
A real person did this.
Did it.
So I can too.
Okay, so number 3.
Number 3 is social persuasion.
Okay, so this is all about...
which is basically the power of encouragement.
Right, like people telling you you can do it.
Right, when someone you respect looks you in the eye and says, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You got this.
I know you can do this.
It can be huge.
Yeah, especially when you're feeling doubtful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the article makes this point that has to be genuine.
Right.
Like empty praise.
Yeah, just like...
doesn't really land.
You're awesome.
Right.
It's got to be specific.
Yeah, it has to be sincere.
Right.
Like acknowledging your effort.
Right.
Highlighting your skills.
It's so important.
It's way more powerful.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4 is emotional and physiological states.
Okay, this is interesting.
This is the one people often miss.
Yeah.
How you feel in your body. And emotionally has a huge impact on your confidence.
If you're like super anxious.
Right, if you're feeling overwhelmed.
Or just like exhausted.
Drained.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel confident.
Right.
But if you're calm, if you have energy, you're like, yeah, I can handle this.
Like your body's on board.
Right.
It's amazing how connected
it's all kind of
the physical and mental are.
Totally.
So we've got, you know.
So that's the psychology.
Yeah, psychology, yeah.
But then they go into the neuroscience.
Oh, this is where it gets really cool.
Yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah, because it's not just like a feeling.
It's not just some fleeting feeling.
Right.
It's actually like
wired into your brain.
Yeah. They talk about the prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
Which is like that part right behind your forehead. That's like the CEO of your brain.
Okay.
Making decisions, planning.
Right.
And apparently there was this 2016 study in Nature Communications that showed that this part of your brain is constantly like taking in information about your past experiences, your current situation, and it's making this like real-time prediction about whether you're going to succeed or not.
That's so cool.
Right. So when you feel that surge of confidence, it's like your prefrontal cortex is giving you a thumbs up.
It's like, you got this.
Based on the data.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
And then there's dopamine.
Oh, yeah.
The reward chemical.
The brain's like happy juice.
Right. And the article talks about how when you experience success or even anticipate it, your brain releases dopamine.
It's like a little reward.
Right. It feels good.
It feels good. Yeah. And it reinforces those behaviors.
Makes you want to do it again.
Exactly. So you're more likely to do the things that led to that success.
Right.
And there was this 2020 study that actually showed that people who have higher baseline levels of dopamine report feeling more confident.
Oh, wow.
So it's like there might even be
interesting
a biological predisposition to confidence.
So like, you know.
But the key takeaway here is those moments of success trigger that dopamine and build confidence.
So even like small goals.
Absolutely. Like intentionally setting small achievable goals and hitting them triggers that reward system.
That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, so now for like the flip side.
Right. So then there's the amygdala.
The amygdala.
Which is like the fear center of your brain.
Right, right. And the article talks about how an overactive amygdala can really mess with your confidence.
Yeah.
Because it's like super sensitive to uncertainty, the threat of failure.
Oh, total.
And it triggers that stress response.
Right.
Like heart racing, sweaty palms.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling.
Kind of like fight or flight.
Yeah. And that can really erode your confidence in the moment.
Sense. Right.
But the cool thing is, the brain can change.
The brain is plastic.
Yeah.
It can rewire itself.
Yeah.
And this is called neuroplasticity.
Right.
So even if your amygdala is like super sensitive, you can train it to chill out.
Over time.
And it's like through practice.
Yeah, like learning a new skill.
Right.
The more you do it,
the
stronger those pathways become.
The more confident you become.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then they bring in hormones.
Okay.
Which adds another layer to this whole biology of confidence thing.
Okay.
They talk about testosterone and how it's linked to assertiveness.
Right.
And go do this.
Yeah.
acting confident can actually increase testosterone.
Like a feedback loop.
Yeah, it's like this positive feedback loop.
That's wild.
So even like standing up straight can make you feel more confident.
Lights out up. I'm going to try that.
Right.
Okay.
And then there's cortisol.
Cortisol.
The stress hormone.
Right.
And that one seems to have the opposite effect.
Right. It
undermines confidence.
taps away at it.
Yeah. And there was this study in 2019 that found that a balanced ratio of testosterone to cortisol was linked to higher confidence.
Interesting.
So it's this whole dance between brain activity and hormones. It's all connected.
So it's not just an abstract thing.
It's not just in your head.
Right. It's like a real biological thing.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, but then
the article shifts gears.
Yeah.
And it looks at why some people struggle with confidence.
Even though we all have these mechanisms.
Exactly. So they talk about this idea of the confidence gap.
Okay. The confidence gap.
And they go into all these factors that can contribute to it.
Like what?
So one of the biggest ones is childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Early experiences.
Totally.
Like the kind of feedback you got growing up can have a huge impact.
Yeah.
They talk about praise.
Yeah.
And how important it is to praise effort.
Right.
And the process of learning.
You worked really hard on that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Not you're so smart.
Right. Because when you praise effort, you're teaching kids that their abilities can grow, that they can get better.
It's like that growth mindset stuff.
Right, exactly, like Carol Dweck's work.
Right.
But when you criticize too much,
or
you don't give enough positive reinforcement,
it can create self-doubt.
That can linger.
That can last for years.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So that distinction between praising effort versus praising innate talent is so important.
Yeah.
Because when you acknowledge hard work, you're teaching them that they can develop their skills.
Right.
But when you just praise talent, it creates this fear of failure.
Right.
Because if they make a mistake, it means they're not talented anymore.
Right.
Right.
So scary.
Yeah.
Okay. They also talk about
societal factors, like gender and culture.
Yeah.
So there's this article in 2014 that showed that women, on average, tend to underestimate their abilities compared to men.
Yeah. And it's not
that they're not capable.
Right.
It's more about societal expectations and biases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's culture.
Right.
Like some cultures value humility more than overt confidence.
Right. You're not supposed to brag.
You're not supposed to stand out.
Yeah, so it's
So it's not just you.
Right.
It's also the world around you.
Totally.
That shapes your confidence.
Makes sense.
Okay, what else?
They also talk about perfectionism.
Perfectionism?
Yeah.
Like
this drive to be flawless can actually backfire.
Right.
Because you're so afraid of making a mistake that you don't even try.
You're paralyzed.
Right. And there was a study in 2021 that linked perfectionism to lower self-confidence.
That makes
because if your standards are impossibly high, you're always going to feel like you're failing.
Right. So you never get that.
You never feel good enough.
That boost.
Right.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah. Everyone's favorite.
Right. Feeling like a fraud.
Even though
you have all this evidence.
You've achieved things that you're actually good.
Right.
Right? It's like your brain can't accept it.
It's crazy.
It was first identified in 1978.
Oh, wow.
And it affects so many people.
Yeah, even
super successful people.
Really successful people.
Right? It's like they can't internalize their success.
Wow.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it shows how strong our inner narratives are.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about the psychology, the neuroscience,
the biology,
the reasons people struggle.
Yeah.
Now what can we actually do about it?
Right. Let's get to the tools.
The toolkit.
The confidence building toolkit.
Yeah.
So the article outlines all these practical strategies that are based on science.
Let's hear it.
So the first one is start small and stack wins.
Oh, okay. I like that.
It's about setting achievable goals.
Yeah.
Even if they seem tiny.
Right.
Because each small win gives you a little confidence boost.
Right.
And it starts to rewire your brain.
Right.
To expect more success.
It's like building momentum.
Right. And there was this study in 2017 that showed that gradual progress is actually more effective than trying to do everything at once.
So it's about consistency.
Yeah, consistency and small steps.
Okay.
So the article suggests making a list of 3 small tasks that you can do today.
Right. Something easy.
Yeah. And it might seem simple.
Yeah.
But just the act of completing something and acknowledging it can really shift your mindset. So think about something you've been wanting to do. What's one tiny step you can take today
right now
to get started?
Okay, love it.
All right, number 2, reframe failure.
Okay.
So this is about changing how you think about setbacks. Instead of seeing them as proof that you're not good enough, you see them as learning opportunities. Like, hey, what can I learn from this? They mention Amy Cuddy's work here.
Okay.
And there's a study in 2022 that showed that this kind of reframing can reduce self-criticism and make you more resilient.
It's like turning a negative into a positive.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the article suggests, after a setback, write down one lesson you learned and one step you can take forward.
I like that.
It keeps you moving in a positive direction.
Okay, what's next?
Number 3, harness your body.
Okay.
So this is about Amy Cuddy's power posing.
Power posing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea is that adopting these expansive postures, like standing tall, hands on your hips, can influence your hormone levels. Maybe increase testosterone, decrease cortisol. And that can make you feel more confident.
Interesting.
Now, there's some debate about the hormones. But there was a 2023 meta-analysis in the journal Body Image that did find that standing upright can increase self-reported confidence. So even if it's not all about the hormones, just the act of standing tall can make you feel more confident.
It's like embodying confidence.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the article says, try standing tall for 2 minutes before a challenging situation.
Like a little power pose break.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
All right, number 4, visualize success.
Visualize success. Okay.
So this is about mental rehearsal. Like picturing yourself succeeding. And the idea is that when you do that, you're actually activating the same neural pathways
in your brain
as if you were actually doing it.
Wow.
And there was a 2018 study in Frontiers in Psychology that showed that this kind of mental practice can increase self-efficacy.
So it's like a mental workout.
For confidence.
So how do we do it?
So the article says, take 5 minutes and really visualize yourself succeeding.
Like really see it.
All the detail, the sights, the sounds,
the feelings,
the emotions. Create that mental movie.
Awesome.
All right, number 5, curate your circle.
Curate your circle.
Okay. So this is about surrounding yourself with supportive people.
People who believe in you.
People who lift you up. And there was a 2020 study in Social Psychology Quarterly that showed that getting positive feedback from your peers can boost your confidence. So it's about who you spend your time with. The article suggests reaching out to someone who believes in you. And asking for their perspective.
That's a good idea.
It's about getting that external validation from someone you trust.
Okay, love it.
Okay, number 6, tame the inner critic.
Oh, the inner critic.
Yeah, we all have that voice. That's always telling us we're not good enough. So the article talks about CBT. Cognitive behavioral therapy. And how it can help you identify and challenge those negative thoughts. And there was a 2019 study that showed that questioning those thoughts with evidence can build confidence.
So it's like fighting back.
Exactly.
Fact.
Okay. So the article suggests making a list of 3 things you've accomplished recently to remind yourself of your successes.
Like a little evidence locker.
Exactly.
Okay, number 7.
Number 7, act as if.
Act as if.
Okay. This is a really interesting one. It's about behaving confidently, even if you don't feel it. And the idea is that it can actually change how you see yourself.
So like fake it till you make it?
Kind of, but there's science behind it. There's a 2021 study that showed that acting assertively, like speaking clearly and directly, can increase your own perception of your competence.
So like you trick your brain?
In a way,
into being more confident. Okay, I like it.
So the article suggests focusing on projecting confidence in your next interaction.
Like a meeting or something.
Or even just like a conversation with a friend.
Okay, cool.
And finally, number 8, train your brain.
Train your brain.
Okay. So this is about mindfulness and meditation. And how they can help you regulate your emotions. Especially that amygdala.
The fear center.
And there was a 2023 study that linked mindfulness to increased confidence. So it's about creating a sense of calm.
Yeah.
And being more aware of your thoughts and feelings.
Right, so you don't get swept away by them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the article suggests trying a 10-minute guided meditation every day.
That's doable.
Yeah, it's a small investment.
Right.
For big potential benefits.
Okay, so that's a lot of tools.
Right, but the article doesn't stop there.
Okay.
It goes on to talk about how confidence shows up
in
the real world.
Okay.
Like in your work, your relationships, your health. Have you ever been in that situation where you're listening to someone speak English? Maybe they're going really fast or they have an accent that you're not quite used to. And you're like, okay, I get the words. I understand the words, but I don't understand what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
It's like trying to catch water in your hands.
Right. Yeah, it's that feeling of like, I can understand all the words, but I can't get the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that is precisely what we are going to be diving into today. You shared this great article with us, Secrets to Advanced English Listening Skills, a comprehensive guide for English learners. And this is for anybody who is serious about taking their English listening to the next level.
Yeah, that's right. We know that for you, the listener, it's not just about getting by in English, right? You're aiming for that higher level of fluency, whether that's to do really well on a test like the IELTS or the TOEFL, to feel super confident in professional settings, or just to be able to really immerse yourself in all the amazing English language content that's out there.
Absolutely. And so our goal for this deep dive is to take this article, unpack it, and extract those practical secrets and strategies that you can use right away to sharpen your listening skills.
That's right.
So we're going to help you get to that advanced level.
Yeah. And we're going to do that by first understanding the specific challenges that people who are trying to get to that advanced level have with listening. And then we'll explore those actionable secrets that are in this article, some really interesting, relatable examples and exercises you can do.
Okay, let's dive in. So the article starts off by saying that advanced listening isn't just about having a huge vocabulary.
Right.
What are some of the complexities that trip people up?
Well, that's a really important point to understand right away. It's not just about knowing more words. It's about some of these other things, like the article talks about how fast speech is a challenge, how native speakers tend to compress their language. So the boundaries between the words get kind of blurred. And also there's the whole thing about informal language idioms, slang contractions. You know, if someone says, I'm going to head out. Yeah, you might understand I am going to head out. But the speed at which it's said can be confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a whole other layer of the language to decode.
Exactly. And then, of course, you know, we have a huge variety of accents in the English-speaking world.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the article gives a great example. It says, I can't find the car now. Depending on who's saying that, maybe somebody with a Boston accent, they're going to say, I can't find the car.
Can't the Calvic, yeah.
So, you know, being able to recognize and adapt to those different pronunciation variations is so important.
And it's not just the speaker, right? Sometimes it's the environment.
The environment, exactly. You think about background noise, like you're trying to follow a conversation in a movie and it's in a busy cafe, or you have multiple people speaking at the same time. Those are real world scenarios that require you to really up your skill level to be able to filter out the distractions and focus on what you need to hear.
And this article gives a great example of those challenges combined. It gives this little snippet from a podcast.
Yeah, the line is, we're knackered after the gig, mate. Now, someone who's still developing their English skills might hear knackered and not know what that word is at all and miss the meaning. But somebody who's, you know, got a bit more advanced skills, they might be exposed to some British slang. They'll know from the context after the gig. So we're talking about a performance that knackered probably means exhausted.
Right.
So it's just that extra level of being able to decipher the slang.
So we've talked about some of the hurdles that advanced listeners face. Let's move on to the really good stuff, the secrets to overcoming them. The first secret is all about broadening your audio intake.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting here is the emphasis on diverse sources.
Right.
So don't just stick to one type of content, you know, think about podcasts, movies, news broadcasts, audiobooks. Try and get a variety of different sources into your routine.
Because you're not going to pick up the slang that you hear on a really casual comedy podcast if you're only listening to the BBC News.
Exactly, or vice versa. You know, the BBC News is great for that kind of formal, clear English.
Right, so it's about training your ear to understand the different registers and styles, and then they give this really practical first step. to kind of start to acclimate your ear, and that is with subtitles.
With subtitles, exactly. So the idea is to start off by watching or listening to some content with subtitles. And this helps you to build that initial comprehension, build your vocabulary, because you're seeing the words written down. And they give a great example from Friends, that classic Ross line, "We were on a break." So you have the subtitles on, you can clearly see every word being said.
But the important part.
But then you take the subtitles off, and this forces your brain to really engage with the sounds, the rhythm, the emotional tone, without relying on that visual aid.
I love that. And they give a specific exercise to put this into practice.
They do.
Let's walk the listener through that.
Okay, so step 1 is to listen to a short TED Talk clip with the subtitles on. They suggest Brené Brown's The Power of Vulnerability, which is a great choice because she speaks quite clearly and thoughtfully.
Okay, so step 1, listen with the subtitles on, get a general sense of what she's saying.
Yes. And then step 2 is to identify some of the key phrases or ideas that stand out to you from that clip.
Okay.
So the article points out shame is universal and vulnerability is courage as some key takeaways.
Right, so you're not just passively listening, you're listening for the core messages.
Exactly. And then step 3 is to replay that clip without the subtitles. And here the main focus is on intonation. So how Brené Brown uses the rise and fall of her voice to emphasize certain words or convey emotion.
I see.
And the article points out how she deliberately emphasizes the word courage, which adds another layer of meaning.
Okay, so it's going from that visual support to just purely relying on your auditory senses. Okay, secret number 2 is all about mastering connected speech. What is connected speech?
It sounds very technical, but it's something you hear all the time when you listen to native English speakers' connected speech, is simply the way that words naturally blend together when people are speaking.
Right.
And it's often quite different from how those individual words would appear if you were just reading them in a textbook.
Okay.
So the article breaks down some of the key features of this. So first you have reductions where sounds within a word get shortened or even dropped entirely.
Right.
A classic example is then we have liaisons where a sound at the end of one word connects to the beginning sound of the next word. So put it on might sound more like put it on.
Put it on.
And then we have elision,
right,
where a sound is omitted completely and next time becomes next time.
Okay.
So those subtle changes, they can really make a difference, especially when you're listening to fast speech.
The article gives a good example from the Avengers.
It does. It gives the line, "I don't see how that's a party."
I don't see how that's a party.
And in fast speech, it's going to sound like, "I don't see how that's a party."
So it's like a whole different sentence.
Almost, yeah.
So how do we train our ears to recognize these blended sounds?
Well, the article recommends a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing.
So shadowing involves listening to a speaker and repeating what they're saying almost at the same time.
I see.
So your voice is kind of like a shadow following theirs, and this really helps you to physically reproduce those connected speech patterns and internalize the natural flow of English.
And they give an exercise for this one too, a common phrase.
Yeah, they do. So record yourself saying the phrase, "I'm not sure about that."
I'm not sure about that. Okay.
And then find a short audio clip of a native speaker saying that same phrase, and just listen carefully, compare your pronunciation to theirs, and pay attention to how they blend those words. Not sure might sound more like no, sure.
No, sure.
And just keep practicing, adjusting your own pronunciation until it starts to sound more natural.
Okay, I like that. So you're getting immediate feedback on your own speech. Okay. Secret number 3, build contextual prediction skills.
So this is all about using your brain power to anticipate what you're going to hear.
Interesting.
So advanced listeners, they don't just passively receive information, they actively use the context of the conversation to try and predict what's coming next.
Okay.
So you're using your existing knowledge, the topic, the situation, maybe even the speaker, to make educated guesses about what you're likely to hear.
Right.
And the article calls this top-down listening.
Top-down listening.
Where you're focusing on the bigger picture first, and they give a practical example. Imagine you're listening to a job interview.
Okay.
And the interviewer says, "Tell me about yourself."
Right.
Now, even before the person starts speaking, you can predict that they're going to talk about their professional background, their skills, their experience, maybe some personal details that are relevant to the job.
Okay, so it's like your brain is already setting up a framework for the kind of information that's to come.
Exactly.
I love that Harry Potter example they give here.
Oh yeah, so good. So in the Harry Potter audiobook, when Dumbledore says in that very serious tone, "The third floor corridor is out of bounds,"
I can hear it.
Even if you don't catch every single word that follows, you can predict that he's going to give some kind of warning.
Right.
And as the article points out, he says to anyone who doesn't wish to die a painful death.
So understanding the context allows you to fill in the blanks.
Exactly.
Okay, and the exercise for this secret, I love this one.
Yeah.
A little bit of suspense.
It is. So the exercise is to pause a movie or a TV show right in the middle of a sentence.
Okay.
So they give an example, I was just about to.
Okay.
And then try to guess how the character is going to finish that sentence.
Oh, I love that.
Based on what's happening, you know who the character is, what's going on in the plot.
Okay.
And then you press play and see if you were right.
That's such a good exercise.
Okay.
I'm going to try that one tonight.
Me too.
Okay, secret number 4 is all about expanding your vocabulary through listening. So we know that having a strong vocabulary is essential, but how does listening contribute to that?
Well, as you get to more advanced levels of listening, you're going to come across more complex and nuanced vocabulary, especially in academic and professional settings.
Yep.
You know, words like mitigate or prolific.
Right.
And the point is that hearing these words in a natural context, rather than just memorizing them from a list, helps you to really understand how they're used in real life.
I see.
And the strategy they suggest here is called thematic listening.
Thematic listening.
So if you're interested in the world of business, you might listen to a podcast like The Economist, where you'll hear terms like disruptive innovation used in lots of different contexts, and that helps you to really solidify your understanding of that word.
Right, repeat exposure.
Yeah.
And they give an example of encountering a new word in a different kind of audio content.
Yeah, so imagine you're watching a documentary about climate change, and you come across the term biodiversity loss. Even if you've never heard that phrase before, the context the film is about, you know, species disappearing, ecosystems being damaged, it gives you a pretty good clue as to what it means.
And then you can look it up.
And then you can double check, yeah.
So you're using context clues.
Exactly.
And the exercise for this secret involves a news segment.
It does. So listen to a short segment from NTR or another news outlet and just jot down 3 words that you don't know.
Okay.
And then try and guess their meaning based on the context of the report.
Okay.
And then at the end, look them up and see if you were right.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one. So secret number 5 shifts our focus to how we engage with the audio we're hearing, the concept of active listening.
Yeah, so it's really important to distinguish between passive hearing and active listening.
Okay.
Passive hearing is just the act of, you know, sound waves hitting your eardrums.
Right.
Active listening is much more engaged. So you're focusing on the audio, you're processing the information, summarizing key points in your mind, asking yourself clarifying questions, and maybe even reacting emotionally or intellectually to what you're hearing.
Okay.
So the example they give is in a debate.
Okay.
Instead of just hearing the statement, taxes should rise,
Okay.
an active listener would be thinking, why does this person believe that? Who would benefit from this? What are the potential negative consequences?
Those take you to that next level.
Exactly.
Okay, and they give a really good example from The Crown.
Yeah, so when Queen Elizabeth says that famous line duty comes before love, it's not just about hearing those words, it's about summarizing them in your own mind. So maybe you think, okay, she's saying she has to prioritize her responsibility as queen over her personal feelings.
Okay.
So you're really understanding what's being communicated.
I see.
And the exercise for this secret involves a longer piece of audio, a podcast episode.
Okay.
So they suggest listening to an episode of Freakonomics, specifically the episode called Why Do We Tip? And then trying to write a concise summary of the main points.
Okay.
Aim for around 50 words, and they give an example. Tipping started as a bribe for better service, evolved into a norm despite economic inefficiency.
That's really helpful.
So you get the idea of the level of detail you need to include.
Yeah, so you're testing your comprehension of a longer piece of audio.
Exactly.
Okay. Secret number 6, leverage technology and tools.
So it's good to know we have some help in this.
Right. We have some modern aids.
We do. Technology offers so much that can help you with your English listening practice. The article specifically mentions some apps like Audible for audiobooks, LingQ for interactive learning with transcripts, and then that super useful playback speed control that you find on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, the playback speed control is a game changer.
Absolutely. It really is.
Yeah.
So if you find that somebody is speaking too fast for you, you can just slow it down a little bit, maybe 0.75 speed.
Right.
And that makes it much easier to hear the individual words and those connected speech patterns that we were talking about. They give a great example of a battle scene from Game of Thrones where you might want to slow down the audio to really catch lines like, "The North remembers amidst all the chaos."
Yeah, that makes sense. So LingQ, how can that be specifically helpful?
So LingQ is really cool because it allows you to work directly with transcripts.
Okay.
So as you're listening and reading along, you can highlight any words that you don't know, get the definition, and save them for review later.
No.
So they give the example of encountering the word treachery in an audiobook, and you can just highlight it, link it to synonyms like betrayal.
So it's like a personalized vocabulary builder.
Exactly.
That's really cool. And the exercise for this secret is all about that playback speed control.
Yeah, so find a short audio clip from BBC News or another outlet and try adjusting the playback speed to something a bit faster than normal, like 1.25x.
Okay.
And this will just challenge your ear to keep up with that faster pace of speech.
That makes a lot of sense. So secret number 7, well, not really a secret. It's about overcoming plateaus in learning and maintaining motivation over time, because language learning really is a marathon.
It is. And the article wisely acknowledges that, progress in language learning, especially listening, isn't always a straight line upwards.
Right.
You will probably hit periods where you feel like your listening has plateaued.
Yeah, happens all the time.
So what can you do?
What can we do?
Well, they suggest a few things. One is to switch up the type of content that you're consuming.
Okay.
So if you've been mainly focusing on very formal podcasts or lectures, try listening to something totally different.
Okay.
Like rap music.
Okay.
They even mentioned the song Humble by Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting.
Just to get a feel for that rhythm and intonation.
So it's engaging different facets of your listening.
Exactly.
What else?
Well, seek out opportunities to engage in real-time conversation.
Okay.
So join a conversation club, find a language exchange partner, get involved in some online communities, and perhaps most importantly is to really celebrate those small victories.
Yes.
So if you finally understand a joke in the office,
Yes.
that is a sign of progress.
Absolutely.
Recognize it.
Right.
Every word you understand is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the secrets for developing advanced English listening skills. And it's all thanks to this really comprehensive guide that you shared with us. And the takeaway really is that mastering advanced listening is a multifaceted skill that requires consistent effort, exposure to a variety of sources, and applying these strategic techniques.
Yeah, it's not passive at all.
Right.
You have to really engage with the language, challenge yourself, and focus on the context and the nuance of spoken English.
And for you, the listener, the next step is clear. Start putting these secrets into practice today. Pick a new podcast to listen to. Try shadowing a line from your favorite movie experiment with those playback speed controls on YouTube. Any little bit of practice will lead to progress over time.
Absolutely. And to leave you with a final thought, as your ability to really grasp the nuances of spoken English improves, how might that unlock not just factual information, but also a richer, deeper connection with English-speaking cultures around the world?
That's a great question.
What might become more accessible to you as your listening gets better? It's something to think about as you continue on your language learning adventure.
I love that question.
Yeah.
That is something to ponder.
Definitely.
It was fantastic talking with you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
See you next time.
Bye. Okay, so you've sent in some really interesting material about mindfulness. And, we really want to dig into that for you today and see if we can sift through and find out, what are some of the most compelling and maybe even like life-changing reasons to start practicing mindfulness. So really going to kind of deconstruct this whole thing, what it is, where it comes from, and how we know that it can be genuinely transformative in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And, at its core, mindfulness is really quite simple.
Right.
But it's also incredibly powerful. Really, it's about training your attention to be fully present in the moment. Noticing what's happening right now, your thoughts, your feelings, what's going on in your environment, and just kind of observing it all without any judgment. And, the roots of this practice go way back, ancient Buddhist traditions.
Right.
But what's really exciting is that modern research is not only confirming those benefits, but it's actually quantifying them in really incredible ways.
Yeah, and I love how, this isn't just about kind of feeling zen. Your sources really suggest some surprising impacts. We're going to dive into how mindfulness can really get in there and, shift things from like dialing down stress and boosting your emotional well-being to sharpening your focus, improving your physical health, even strengthening your relationships and helping you sleep better. So get ready for some real moments as we extract the crucial insights.
Yeah, let's dive right in with something that I think really resonates with almost everyone.
Right.
And that's stress and anxiety. Your material makes a really strong argument for mindfulness being a real game changer in this area. You know, there's even talk of it actually lowering cortisol levels.
Okay, so let's unpack this. How does simply being more present in the moment actually lead to like a real physical change, like lower cortisol? It almost sounds a little too good to be true.
You know, it really comes down to the incredible connection between your mind and body. When you're constantly caught up in worry or feeling anxious, your body basically goes into this like high alert state, and that triggers the release of cortisol. Now, what mindfulness training does is it helps you become aware of those anxious thoughts as they pop up, but without getting completely carried away by them. It's almost like creating a little bit of space between you and your thoughts.
So instead of being, tossed around in the rapids, you're standing on solid ground, kind of observing the flow without getting pulled under.
Exactly. And your sources highlight a couple of key ways that this actually works. One is that mindfulness helps you regulate your emotions more effectively. When you're more aware of your emotional state, you're less likely to just react on impulse or get overwhelmed by anxiety.
Right.
And then the other piece of this is the power of breathing exercises, which are often like a cornerstone of mindfulness practice. These exercises actually directly tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. It's kind of like your body's natural chill out button.
That makes total sense. Slowing down your breath.
Yeah.
It's like physically telling your body to relax.
Exactly.
You know that study from Harvard Medical School, the one on mindfulness-based stress reduction or MBSR showing a significant reduction in anxiety symptoms? That's not just anecdotal, that's like gold standard research.
Absolutely. And it really emphasizes that this isn't just some, fluffing concept. There's really rigorous peer-reviewed science showing that it's effective in tackling both those everyday stresses that can really wear you down and then also more deep-seated persistent anxiety.
Now, let's move beyond just the daily grind of stress. Your sources also really delve into how mindfulness can affect our overall emotional well-being. It sounds like it can really help you build kind of an inner core of resilience.
Totally. If we think about the bigger picture of, navigating the ups and downs of life, mindfulness gives you a way to really change your relationship with your emotions. Instead of trying to model them up or push them away, which, let's be honest, often just backfires. You learn to just observe them with a sense of curiosity and acceptance. And this creates space for you to process them in a way that's healthier and more constructive.
So it's not about, being in this constant state of like blissed out happiness, but it's about being better equipped to handle the full range of emotions.
Right.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Precisely. And your material really highlights how mindfulness can actually help reduce symptoms of depression. It helps you redirect your attention away from those negative thought patterns that can really drag you down into a spiral.
Right.
It also cultivates self-compassion and self-acceptance, which are so important for strong emotional health. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend.
Yeah, that really hits home. We can be so hard on ourselves sometimes.
Absolutely.
And that study in psychological science that you shared, linking regular mindfulness practice to greater emotional stability and fewer mood swings, that seems to suggest, a real anchoring effect on our emotional landscape.
Yeah, it does. It seems to indicate that with consistent practice, you become less reactive to the emotional ups and downs of life and more grounded in this sense of inner equilibrium.
Now, something that I know I personally struggle with in this age of, constant notifications and pings is staying focused. And your sources point to mindfulness as a real secret weapon against this digital distraction.
Right.
So how exactly does it help us sharpen our concentration?
I think this brings up a really important point about how our brains are wired in this constantly connected world. Mindfulness really offers a way to kind of rewire your brain for better focus. Your sources talk about mindfulness strengthening the prefrontal cortex, which is like the control center of your brain.
Right.
It's responsible for attention, decision-making, impulse control.
So it's like doing mental reps for the part of your brain that helps you stay on task.
Yeah, in a way, by regularly practicing bringing your attention back to the present moment. Whether you're focusing on your breath, your physical sensations, or whatever task you're doing. You're actually training your brain to be more attentive and less susceptible to those distracting stimuli. And your sources also talk about improvements in working memory, your ability to hold and manipulate information, and cognitive flexibility, which is your brain's ability to switch between tasks and adapt to different situations.
That is huge. Being able to juggle tasks effectively and keep information readily accessible in your mind, those are such valuable skills in the world today.
Absolutely.
And you know that study from the University of California, Santa Barbara, the one showing improved performance on cognitive tasks and increased focus in students who practice mindfulness, that's really compelling, in this context. It points to real-world benefits for things like learning and productivity.
It does. It clearly shows that mindfulness isn't just about achieving a state of inner peace. It actually has measurable effects on your cognitive abilities and your capacity to focus.
It's just amazing to see how these seemingly simple mental exercises can have such broad impacts. And speaking of wide-ranging effects, your material even mentions the physical health benefits of mindfulness. Some of these connections were pretty surprising to me.
What's really eye-opening is the incredibly intricate link between mental and physical well-being that's often overlooked.
Right.
And your sources actually suggest that mindfulness can play a role in strengthening your immune system.
How does that work? Is it just an indirect effect through reducing stress, or is there like a more direct physiological mechanism going on there?
Most likely it's a bit of both.
Okay.
Chronic stress is known to suppress the immune system. So by effectively reducing stress, mindfulness can have a positive impact in that way.
Right.
However, there's also some emerging research suggesting more direct effects, possibly through the regulation of the nervous and endocrine systems.
Okay.
And, another really intriguing physical benefit is the mention of reduced chronic pain.
The idea that mindfulness can actually change your perception of pain, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's not that the pain goes away, but your brain reacts to it differently.
Exactly. It's not necessarily about eliminating the physical sensation itself, but more about changing how your brain processes those pain signals.
Okay.
Making them feel less intense and less overwhelming.
I see.
And then there are the studies that point to lower blood pressure and improved cardiovascular health, which are really significant. They suggest that mindfulness really has this holistic impact on your physical well-being.
And that study in psychosomatic medicine that linked mindfulness meditation to lower levels of inflammatory markers really seems to connect everything together, because inflammation is implicated in so many chronic diseases.
Absolutely. It really even scores that mindfulness isn't just some abstract mental exercise. It actually has real measurable physiological benefits that can impact your entire system.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about relationships. Your sources explore how mindfulness can improve how we connect with other people. It makes sense intuitively. Being fully present with someone feels like a fundamental part of good communication.
It really is. If we go back to our earlier conversation about the core principles of being present and non-judgmental, think about how powerfully those translate into your interactions with others. Mindfulness really enhances your active listening skills because you're more focused on what the other person is actually saying rather than being distracted by your own thoughts or, already planning your response.
Right. So less mental chatter going on in your head means more bandwidth to really pay attention to the person right in front of you.
Exactly. It also fosters greater empathy. By becoming more attuned to your own emotions, you develop a greater capacity to understand and share the feelings of others. And the reduction in reactive behaviors is so key in preventing unnecessary conflicts. When you're practicing mindfulness, you're less likely to get swept away by, anger or frustration in the heat of the moment.
That's something we could all use a little more of.
Right.
And that research that you included from the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy showing higher levels of relationship satisfaction for couples who practice mindfulness together, that really speaks volumes about its potential to strengthen our bonds with others.
It does. It strongly suggests that mindfulness can be a really valuable tool for building healthier, more fulfilling, and more resilient relationships across the board.
Another area where so many people struggle is getting a good night's sleep. Your sources actually suggest that mindfulness could be a path to more restful nights.
Yeah, and it's really insightful here is how many sleep problems are really linked to just having a busy, anxious, overactive mind. Mindfulness tackles this directly by helping to quiet those racing thoughts that can keep you up at night.
So it's like turning down the volume on that internal noise that keeps you awake.
Exactly. Your sources also mention that mindfulness can help regulate your nighttime cortisol levels, allowing them to naturally decline, which helps you relax and prepares your body for sleep. There's even evidence that it might boost melatonin production, the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle.
That is great news for anyone who's ever tossed and turned at 3 in the morning. And that study in JAMA Internal Medicine demonstrating improved sleep quality in adults with chronic insomnia who did mindfulness meditation really offers some hope.
It does. It suggests that mindfulness can be a safe, effective, and drug-free approach to managing those persistent sleep problems.
Beyond all these specific benefits that we've talked about, your sources also touch on the more personal aspects of growth and self-awareness that mindfulness can foster. How does simply being present in your life lead to a deeper understanding of yourself?
This is where the practice can get really transformative on a personal level. By just consistently observing your own thoughts and emotions as they arise without judging or analyzing them, you start to become much more aware of underlying patterns. Things like negative thought loops that you might not have even noticed before, habitual reactions to certain situations, even your deeper motivations and values. And this increased self-awareness is like the foundation of personal growth.
So it's like holding up a mirror to your inner world, but instead of criticizing what you see, you're just observing it with curiosity.
Yeah, in a way, but with a really non-judgmental approach. Your material suggests that this awareness can help you identify and then start to consciously replace negative or unhelpful thought patterns with more positive and constructive ones. It can also foster a stronger growth mindset, making you more resilient when things get tough and more open to learning and change. And it can even strengthen your self-discipline and decision-making because it allows you to act with more intention and less impulsivity.
It sounds like it gives you more control over your inner life and, as a result, your actions in the world.
Absolutely.
Finally, your sources connect mindfulness to the development of gratitude and ultimately a greater sense of happiness. How does focusing on the present moment lead to more appreciation for what you have?
What's really beautiful here is how mindfulness kind of gently shifts your focus away from what might be lacking in your life and directs your attention toward what's actually present right now. By really noticing and appreciating the little things, the warmth of your coffee, the beauty of a sunny day, a kind word from a coworker, you naturally start to cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude.
It's about savoring the here and now instead of always longing for the next thing or dwelling on the past.
Exactly. And your sources really suggest that this attitude of gratitude that's nurtured by mindfulness directly contributes to more happiness and well-being. It encourages positive thinking, reduces the power of negative emotions by fostering acceptance, and ultimately boosts your overall satisfaction with life.
And that study in the Journal of Positive Psychology linking mindfulness and gratitude exercises to a significant increase in reported happiness really highlights that connection.
It does. It really shows the synergy between these two practices, both of which are rooted in paying attention to the present moment.
Well, diving into your sources has been truly eye-opening. It's so clear that mindfulness isn't just a fad. It's a practice with deep roots and a lot of scientific backing for a really impressive range of benefits. From managing stress and anxiety to improving your focus, boosting your physical health, strengthening your relationships, getting better sleep, fostering self-awareness, and cultivating gratitude and happiness.
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing for you to take away from this is how accessible this practice truly is. You don't need any special equipment or expensive retreats or even a huge time commitment. Even just a few minutes a day of mindful attention can start to make a real difference in your life.
So as you think about all of this, consider one area of your life where you might be looking for a positive change. Maybe it's dealing with the pressures of work. Maybe it's sharpening your focus on important tasks or just finding more moments of peace and contentment. Think about how even just a few conscious breaths or a few moments of truly being present in the moment woven into your day and routine could lead to some profound and lasting changes. It's an invitation to explore what happens when you truly show up for your life moment by moment.
Hello and welcome to the Learn English Lab. We like to dig into all kinds of interesting topics here to help you become a better communicator. I'm Mike, and today we're going to go deep on a skill that's absolutely essential, I would say, in life: listening and understanding. And to help us navigate this topic, we have an expert in communication with us. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And you're definitely right about how important listening is, especially in a world that never seems to stop throwing information at us.
It really does feel like a superpower sometimes to cut through all that noise and truly connect with what somebody's actually saying. So, Sarah, let's just start with the basics here. Why is listening such a big deal? Why should we be dedicating a whole deep dive to it?
We often focus on the speaking part when we think about communication, getting our own ideas out there. But to have effective communication, you need to build a bridge between people. And that bridge is built with genuine listening. It's a two-way street.
I really like that image, a bridge of understanding. So how do we start to build this bridge? Where do we even begin?
Well, the first step might seem surprisingly simple, but it's really the foundation. Being present and engaged, that means giving the speaker your full attention.
That's harder than it sounds these days, right? Our phones are always buzzing. There's always something trying to grab our attention.
It is, absolutely. And that's why it's even more important to consciously choose to be present. Put the phone away, silence the notifications, truly focus on the person right there in front of you.
So no more sneaking peeks at social media while someone's trying to have like a real conversation.
Well, if you want to build that bridge, yeah, definitely not. Eye contact, a genuine smile. Attentive body language. All of these things tell the speaker, hey, what you're saying matters to me.
Like saying, I see you. I'm here with you in this moment. Those nonverbal cues, they carry so much weight.
For sure, but it goes even beyond just the physical being there. You have to be mentally present too. Quiet all those mental distractions, the to-do list, that song that's stuck in your head, and really tune into what the speaker is trying to convey.
Okay, so step one, be present, be engaged. No multitasking, no mental wandering. Got it. What's next in becoming like a master listener?
Well, now we go beyond simply hearing the words to really grasping their meaning. And step 2 is all about active listening.
Active listening. Okay, so that seems like it's more than just sitting there nodding along. So what does that actually involve?
You're right. It's about actively participating in the conversation. It's showing the speaker that you're not just hearing them, but you're making a real effort to understand.
So how do we actively participate in this way? Like, what are some tools we can actually use?
One powerful technique is paraphrasing. So after the speaker shares something, try putting it back into your own words to make sure you're both on the same page. It helps clear up any confusion and reassures the speaker that you're really trying to get their message.
Like say, okay, so let me make sure I'm on the same page, and then reflecting back what you've understood.
Exactly. It shows you're actively processing the information, not just letting it go in one ear and out the other. Another key part of active listening is asking open-ended questions. Instead of just yes or no questions, ask questions that encourage the speaker to, elaborate, share more of their thoughts and feelings.
So instead of like, are you upset about this? We might say, tell me more about how the situation is making you feel.
Exactly. Open-ended questions invite a much deeper conversation, and they demonstrate a genuine interest in the speaker's perspective.
This makes a lot of sense. But what about those times when we're listening and maybe we completely disagree with what's being said? How do we actively listen without just, biting our tongue?
That's a really important point. Active listening doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the speaker is saying. It's about understanding their perspective, even if it's different from your own. And remember, sometimes understanding is the first step toward finding common ground or having a productive conversation about those different viewpoints.
So even when it's tough, active listening is key. Be present. Ask open-ended questions. Try to see things from their side. Okay, so what's the final step to really becoming a master of this whole listening and understanding thing?
Well, the final step pulls it all together. It's about responding thoughtfully and constructively. And this means taking what you've heard and crafting a response that shows you've been engaged and adds something valuable to the conversation.
So it's not about just like blurting out the first thing that pops into our head, right? What does the thoughtful response actually look like?
You're exactly right. A thoughtful response acknowledges the speaker's message and validates their feelings. It shows you are truly listening. You might start by saying, I hear what you're saying, or I understand this is frustrating for you.
So it's not just about giving our own opinion. It's showing that we've taken in what the other person has shared.
Yes. From there, you can share your own perspective, ask for clarification, maybe even suggest solutions if that's appropriate. But the key is to do it respectfully, constructively, and in a way that moves the conversation forward.
It's like building on that foundation of understanding we've created through being present and listening actively.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, the tone we use and the language we choose in our response can make all the difference. We want to create a sense of openness where everyone feels heard and respected.
So we've got our 3 steps: being present, active listening, and thoughtful responses. But let's be real for a second. We all have moments where we hit roadblocks in our listening. What are some of those common barriers?
Well, one of the biggest culprits is distractions.
Oh, those pesky distractions. Whether it's our phone, a noisy environment, or even our own thoughts, they can totally derail our focus.
Absolutely. And it's not just external distractions. Internal ones can be just as bad. When you're supposed to be listening, but you're mentally writing your grocery list or replaying that awkward encounter from earlier.
Ugh, totally guilty of that.
Yeah.
So how do we actually combat those distractions and stay truly present?
Well, for external distractions, sometimes it's as simple as politely asking for a quieter space or silencing our phones. But for internal distractions, mindfulness can be a powerful tool.
Mindfulness. Very zen. But how do we actually apply that to listening?
It's about gently guiding your attention back to the present moment, back to the speaker whenever you find your mind wandering. Notice the distracting thought, acknowledge it, then gently refocus on the person you're with. And honestly, it gets easier with practice.
It's like strength training for our attention spans.
I like that. Another barrier we often encounter is our own preconceived notions and biases. We all have them shaped by our experiences, upbringing, and beliefs.
So we might unintentionally filter what we hear through these lenses, interpreting their words based on our own assumptions rather than truly listening with an open mind.
Exactly. It's like we're wearing these tinted glasses that color everything we see. And when we're not aware of these biases, they can prevent us from fully understanding the speaker's point of view.
That's a great question. How do we take those tinted glasses off and see things more clearly?
It starts with self-awareness. Recognizing our own biases is the first step toward lessening their impact on our listening. Then it's about consciously striving to keep an open mind, to approach each conversation with curiosity and a willingness to learn.
It sounds like challenging ourselves to see beyond our own limited perspectives and really embrace the possibility of new understanding.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And sometimes those biases might even be positive. We might have a bias towards someone we admire, and that could make us miss important nuances in what they're communicating. So awareness is key, no matter what kind of bias it is.
So we've got distractions and biases to watch out for. What other listening barriers should we be aware of?
Well, sometimes our own emotions can actually get in the way. Think about a time when you were really angry or upset. Were you truly able to listen and understand someone else's perspective in that moment?
Probably not. When we're caught up in our own emotions, it can be really tough to be fully present and open to what other people are saying.
It is. And it's not just negative emotions either. Even excitement or anticipation can make it harder to truly listen. So being aware of our emotional state and how it might be influencing our listening is really important.
So if we're feeling overwhelmed by emotion, it might be wise to take a break before having a conversation that requires us to really listen deeply.
That's an excellent suggestion. Sometimes taking a few moments to breathe, center ourselves, and manage our emotions can make all the difference in our ability to listen with clarity and empathy. So we've talked about distractions, biases, and emotions. Are there any other common pitfalls to watch out for?
This is all so insightful. What other challenges do we face in becoming expert listeners?
Sometimes it just comes down to a lack of genuine interest in what the speaker is saying. We've all been in those conversations where our minds wander and we find ourselves nodding politely while our thoughts are miles away.
Yeah, totally. It's like our inner monologue takes over and we're not really present anymore.
Yeah, you got it. While we can't be fascinated by every topic or person we encounter, there are ways to cultivate a more engaged listening mindset even when we're not naturally drawn to the subject matter.
How can we train ourselves to be more interested even when the topic isn't our favorite? That feels like a real skill.
One strategy is to actively look for something valuable in what the speaker is saying. Maybe it's a bit of wisdom, a new perspective, or even just learning something new about the person. Even if we don't agree with everything, there's always something to be gained from actively listening to someone else's point of view.
It's about approaching the conversation as an opportunity for discovery rather than just a passive exchange of words.
I love that. And, even if the topic isn't that captivating, we can always choose to be interested in this speaker as a person. Everyone has a story, experiences to share, and unique perspectives to offer.
So it's about shifting our focus from the content to the connection we're making.
Exactly. And that shift can make all the difference in our ability to listen with genuine interest and empathy.
We've covered distractions, biases, emotions, and staying interested. Are there any other traps we should be aware of in our journey to become better listeners?
One final pitfall I want to mention is the tendency to interrupt or dominate the conversation. It's easy to get caught up in our own thoughts and, be eager to share. But remember, effective listening is about creating space for the speaker.
Resisting that urge to jump in with our own opinions or solutions before we've truly understood their experience.
Exactly. Interrupting or dominating the conversation can send the message that we're more interested in hearing ourselves talk than in truly understanding the other person.
It can make them feel unheard and like their perspective doesn't matter.
Right. And that can damage relationships and hinder effective communication. So it's essential to practice patience, let the speaker finish, and resist the urge to constantly interject.
So it's about cultivating a listening mindset that prioritizes understanding over being right or getting our point across.
Perfectly said. Even when we disagree, there's always value in listening with an open mind and seeking to understand their perspective before offering our own rebuttal.
Sarah, this has been so insightful. We've uncovered so many barriers, from distractions and biases to emotions and the tendency to dominate the conversation. But there's one key element that seems to kind of weave through every aspect of effective listening: empathy.
You're absolutely right. Empathy is at the heart of listening and understanding. It allows us to connect on a deeper level, to move beyond just hearing words to experiencing genuine human connection.
Empathy. The ability to step into someone else's shoes, to see the world through their eyes and to understand their experience. Is that something we're born with, or can we develop it?
Well, while some people might naturally be more empathetic than others, it's definitely a skill that can be developed and strengthened with conscious effort.
That's great to hear. What are some practical steps we can take to boost our empathy and become more compassionate listeners?
It all starts with that active listening that we were just talking about. Really focusing on the speaker, paying attention to their words, their tone of voice, their body language. Those are all crucial ingredients for empathy.
It's like we're gathering clues to kind of understand their inner world, to see things from their perspective.
Exactly. And beyond just listening, we can actively cultivate empathy by asking those open-ended questions that encourage the speaker to share more about how they feel and what they've experienced. So instead of just asking, "How are you?" we might ask, "What's been happening in your world lately?"
Yeah, those open-ended questions, they create space for a much richer conversation, don't they?
They do. And it's not just about asking questions. It's about truly listening to the answers with an open heart. And sometimes simply reflecting back what we've heard can be really powerful. We might say something like, "It sounds like you're feeling really overwhelmed right now," or "I can imagine how frustrating that must have been."
Those reflections really validate their experience, which can be really comforting.
Right. And remember, empathy doesn't mean we have to agree with the speaker or condone their actions. We can still empathize with how they feel, even if we don't agree with the choices they've made.
So it's about separating the person from their actions, understanding that we can care about someone without endorsing everything they do.
Absolutely. That nuanced understanding is at the heart of true empathy. Now, while we've been focusing on verbal communication, remember that a huge part of understanding someone comes from their nonverbal cues as well.
Oh, that's right. Things like body language, facial expressions, even just the way someone holds themselves can tell us so much.
It can. Someone might be saying they're fine, but their slumped shoulders and downcast eyes tell a different story. So as listeners, we need to pay attention to those nonverbal signals. They can often reveal more than words alone.
So how do we learn to interpret those nonverbal cues? It feels like it could be easy to misinterpret things.
It definitely takes practice. It's about being observant and considering the context of the conversation. For example, crossed arms might signal defensiveness in one situation, but simply feeling cold in another. It's about looking at the whole picture, not just isolated gestures.
And I imagine it's also helpful to just check in with the speaker. If we're unsure, something like, "I'm sensing some hesitation in your voice." Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, exactly. It's always better to clarify than to assume. Checking in shows the speaker that you're truly paying attention and that you care about understanding them fully.
This is also fascinating. It seems like empathy is key, not only to being a better listener, but to navigating relationships and communication as a whole.
You're absolutely right. Empathy is essential in all types of relationships, whether it's with our partners, families, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. It's kind of the glue that holds our social fabric together.
In romantic relationships, I imagine empathy allows us to understand our partner's needs and desires, to support them through difficulties and to build a deeper connection.
Yes, absolutely. It's about moving beyond our own ego and really seeing and valuing our partner's experience. And then in family relationships, empathy helps us navigate those sometimes complex dynamics, understanding our parents, siblings, and children from their unique perspectives.
It feels like it could be a really powerful tool to overcome those generational misunderstandings and conflicts that can sometimes come up in families.
You're spot on. And in friendships, empathy lets us be there for our friends, celebrate their wins, and offer a listening ear when they're struggling.
being that safe space where they can be themselves without judgment?
Yes. And even in the workplace, empathy is important for building trust, working together effectively, and creating a more positive environment. It helps us understand our colleagues handle disagreements better and build stronger relationships with clients.
So it's not just a nice to have in lower case, it's actually a key ingredient for success in all areas of life.
Right. It's a win-win for everyone. Now, with all the amazing benefits of empathy, are there any potential downsides or challenges we should be aware of?
That's a great question. It seems like with any powerful tool, there's always a potential for misuse or unintended consequences. So what are some things to keep in mind?
You're exactly right. One challenge is what's called empathy fatigue.
Empathy fatigue.
Yeah.
That sounds almost counterintuitive. What does that mean?
Well, it's a state of emotional exhaustion that can happen when we're constantly exposed to other people's suffering or negativity. Think about healthcare workers, therapists, social workers. You know, people who are constantly taking on the emotional burdens of others.
Like their reserves of empathy get depleted, leaving them feeling drained and overwhelmed.
Exactly. And while most of us aren't facing that level of emotional intensity day to day, we can all experience empathy fatigue to some degree, especially if we're surrounded by negativity or constantly consuming distressing news and social media.
So it sounds like it's important to be mindful of our own emotional health and to set boundaries when it comes to absorbing other people's emotions.
Yes, self-care is essential. We can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of our own emotional needs allows us to be more present and empathetic when we choose to be.
It's about finding that balance between being compassionate and protecting our own well-being.
That's it. Another potential challenge with empathy is the risk of becoming overly involved in other people's issues.
That makes sense. We might try to fix everyone's problems or take on their emotional baggage as our own.
Yes. And while wanting to help those we care about is natural, it's important to remember that we're not responsible for solving everyone's problems or carrying their emotional weight.
So how do we strike that balance between being supportive and setting healthy boundaries?
It's about recognizing that our role is to listen, understand, and offer support, but not to take ownership of their challenges. We can be a compassionate presence without becoming entangled in their problems.
Offering empathy without enabling unhealthy patterns or becoming too emotionally invested.
You got it. Sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do is encourage someone to seek professional help or to establish boundaries that protect our own well-being.
Empathy is a powerful force, but it's important to use it wisely and to recognize our own limitations. It's amazing to think about the impact it can have on our relationships and our lives.
Absolutely. Empathy is the foundation for building trust, fostering connection, and creating a more compassionate and understanding world. It's a gift we can give ourselves and others, and it's one that keeps on giving.
This has been an incredible conversation, Sarah. We've really explored the art of listening and understanding from so many angles, from being present and practicing active listening to overcoming those common barriers and cultivating empathy. As we wrap up, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important takeaway is that listening and understanding are choices. Every day we have the opportunity to choose to be present, to choose to listen with an open heart, and to choose to cultivate empathy in our interactions. And those choices have the power to transform our relationships, our work, and our lives in profound ways.
Beautifully said. It's a powerful reminder that we have the power to create more meaningful connections by simply choosing to be more present and empathetic listeners.
Yeah.
What's particularly interesting to me is how that extends beyond our personal lives. How does empathy play out in a broader kind of societal context?
Yeah, that's a really fascinating area to consider, isn't it? It's like those individual acts of empathy, they don't just stay contained, they actually ripple outward, influencing our communities, organizations, even global dynamics.
So when we practice empathy in our own lives, it can actually contribute to creating a more understanding and compassionate world around us.
It really can. Think about it for a second. When people in a community are more empathetic, they're more likely to have productive conversations to bridge those divides and to work together to actually solve those shared problems.
It's like empathy becomes this essential ingredient in building a more harmonious society.
Exactly. And this extends beyond just our local communities, too. When those decision makers approach challenges with empathy, they're more likely to consider everyone's needs. They're more likely to find solutions that are fair and create policies that actually benefit everyone.
So empathy isn't just this nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a crucial component in creating a more just and equitable society for everyone.
I couldn't agree more. And then on a global scale, empathy is vital in promoting peace and understanding between nations. When we can step outside of our own little cultural bubbles and try to truly understand the experiences and perspectives of those who are different from us, we're less likely to give in to prejudice and fear and conflict.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, or any other arbitrary dividing line.
Exactly. Empathy is the antidote to those us versus them mentalities that so often lead to division and strife. It allows us to see beyond those artificial boundaries and recognize that we're all interconnected, that our well-being is intertwined.
It's inspiring to think that even the smallest acts of empathy can have a ripple effect that reaches far beyond our immediate circle.
They really can. And those ripples of empathy, they can create waves of change, transforming our world into a more compassionate, just, and peaceful place.
This has been a really incredible deep dive, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me.
And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you've learned some valuable tools and insights that'll help you become more effective listeners and better communicators.
And remember, this is just the beginning. Keep practicing those listening skills, keep cultivating empathy, and keep choosing to connect with others on a deeper level.
If you enjoyed this deep dive into the art of listening and understanding, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more fascinating deep dives into all sorts of interesting topics.
Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep connecting. Okay, everyone, you know that feeling, don't you? That moment when, like, whatever you're working towards, that big career goal, that personal project that, once got you so fired up.
Yeah.
Even just getting through a day that feels like wading through mud suddenly just seems impossible. And that voice in your head starts whispering about just stopping.
Oh, yeah.
We've all been there.
Absolutely. We all have. And, that's exactly what we're going to be digging into today.
Okay.
So forget those, like, rah-rah pep talks.
Yeah.
We're not about that.
Oh.
We've actually gone through all the material you showed.
Yeah.
Let's just call it your pasted text for now.
Perfect.
To really understand what's actually going on, when they get up and go, just gets up and goes.
It really does.
More importantly, we want to give you some real solid strategies, like a real toolkit to find that spark again.
Exactly. Because motivation, it's not a bonfire, is it?
Yeah.
It's not just this endless burning fire.
It flickers.
It flickers. Yeah, sometimes it's blazing, other times it's just embers. So in this deep dive, our goal is to give you those insights to fan those embers back into a flame.
That's right.
And we're going to do that when you need it most?
Yes.
So why does this happen?
Well, so I think we need to unpack why that initial burst of energy that we get often fades.
Okay.
And your sources actually touch on this.
Yeah.
When we begin something new, there's this rush of dopamine in the brain.
Yeah.
Right? And this is this neurochemical that makes us feel good, excited, optimistic.
Right.
Think about that buzz that you get at the very start of, like, a new project.
Yeah, that initial thrill.
Right.
But that doesn't last, does it?
Well, like, any really intense feeling, that dopamine surge isn't sustainable over the long term.
It's not.
As soon as that novelty kind of wears off, as soon as we hit like a snag challenge, that chemical high dips, and what felt exciting now feels like effort.
Yeah, like a drag.
Yeah, just a bit of a drag.
Yeah.
And then think about the impact of setbacks as well.
Okay.
Like a rejection, a failure, just the sense that you're not making any headway. One of your sources actually brought up this concept of learned helplessness.
Okay.
Which is essentially, if we experience these repeated failures, we start to think, well, actually, our efforts don't matter.
Right.
So why bother trying?
Yeah, it can feel pointless, can't it?
It can feel pointless, and it's a very powerful demotivator.
It really is. And then you've got the everyday stuff as well, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
You've got deadlines, you've got money worries.
Absolutely.
You might even have people in your life who are not exactly supporting you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, shall we say, they're not fueling our fire?
Yeah. Yeah, and all of that can really amplify that urge to just quit.
Absolutely. I mean, time constraints, financial strain, not having a support system.
Yeah.
These are big drains on our motivation.
They really are.
It's amazing what people manage to do, even with all of that stuff going on.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is really key from your materials. Motivation isn't just some random emotion that shows up or doesn't.
Okay.
It's more like a muscle. It's a skill that can be developed and strengthened by understanding what drains it and what fuels it.
Okay, so we're clearer now on why we feel demotivated, but how do we put the brakes on how do we climb back up that hill.
Yeah.
So the first tool that I'm seeing here in your motivation toolkit is to re-examine your why.
Re-examine and reframe.
Okay.
Because this is really your anchor, your foundation. The reason that you started doing this in the first place.
Okay.
And when those inevitable tough times hit, this is what keeps you connected to your goal.
But it's not enough just to have a why, is it?
No, it's not enough just to have this vague idea.
You've got to like really...
You need to revisit it.
Revisit it, yeah, and be specific about it.
Exactly. And your materials really stress the power of getting very specific.
Yeah.
They even gave a great example, actually.
Full on.
Of shifting from, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Which is quite a general thing.
It is very general.
To, I want to lose weight so I can play with my kids in the park without getting winded.
Oh, wow.
So it's connecting it.
Yeah.
To something really specific.
It makes it more compelling, doesn't it?
It makes it tangible. It makes it emotionally significant.
Right.
It connects the present struggle with the outcome.
Yeah.
And research shows that having a clear purpose leads to greater resilience.
Okay, so the actionable step here is to sit down, think about your why.
Yes.
Write it down in detail. And then make it visible.
Make it visible. Put it somewhere where you'll see it all the time.
Okay.
On your bathroom mirror as your screensaver, on your phone, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
And it's not static.
Right.
As you grow and your goals change, your why can evolve as well.
Yeah.
The key is to maintain that connection with it.
Okay, so we've got our why. We know why we're doing it.
Yes.
How do we break it down, though? Because sometimes it just feels too big.
Right. Well, this is the second key strategy from your sources. Break down these big, daunting goals into small, manageable steps, otherwise known as micro goals.
Okay.
Because feeling overwhelmed can be a real motivation killer.
Yeah.
You just think it's so far off, I don't even know where to begin.
I don't know where to start.
And it leads to this kind of paralysis.
I know that feeling so well.
I bet you do.
Yeah. It's like staring at a blank page when you've got to write a novel.
Yes, exactly.
Or a blank canvas when you've got to paint a masterpiece.
Exactly.
Where do you even start?
Well, the solution is to take that big objective and break it down into these tiny, actionable pieces.
Okay.
So instead of write a book, the micro goal would be write 200 words today.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of run a marathon, the micro goal is run 1 mile without stopping.
I can do that.
Exactly. And they're tangible. They're achievable in the short term.
And you get those small wins, don't you?
Yes, you do. You get these small wins.
And each time you accomplish one, it gives you that little boost of dopamine.
Yes, exactly. They're like positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And your sources talk about acknowledging and celebrating those wins.
Okay.
You finish those 200 words.
Yeah.
Take a break. Have a reward. Your brain responds to that.
And they all add up, don't they?
They do. They really do. And that cumulative effect of all these small steps is really significant.
Okay. So we've got our why we're breaking things down. What's next?
Well, I think the next thing is embracing the power of routine.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, relying solely on feeling motivated is about as dependable as the weather forecast.
You're not wrong there.
Your mood, your energy levels, they fluctuate.
Yeah.
If you only act when you feel motivated, you're going to be stopping and starting all the time.
So we need to establish habits.
We need to establish consistent habits.
Okay.
They provide the structure that doesn't depend on your feelings.
So do we pick one thing?
Pick one consistent action that supports your goal.
Okay.
And commit to doing it regularly.
Okay. So for example, what could we do?
Well, you could dedicate 5 minutes each morning to language practice. Or you could spend 10 minutes stretching before bed.
Okay. So small things, but regularly.
Exactly. Consistency, even in small doses, trumps sporadic intensity.
Okay.
James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits, which your sources referenced.
Yeah.
These habits, they compound over time and lead to remarkable progress.
So 5 minutes every day might not feel like much.
No.
But over a year, it could lead to something big.
Yeah, exactly. And the sources also talk about habit stacking.
Okay.
Which is essentially linking the new habit to an existing habit.
Right.
So for example, right after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do my language practice.
Right.
So it piggybacks on something you already do.
Right.
So your brain doesn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
It just becomes the next step.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So even when your motivation dips, your routine will carry you forward.
Okay. So we've talked about we've talked about breaking things down. We've talked about habits. But sometimes that urge to quit isn't about lack of drive. It's about fear of failure.
It is.
It's like we're trying to protect ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
From being disappointed.
Yeah, the anxiety of putting in all that effort and then not achieving what you want can be very powerful.
It can.
That little voice in your head is saying, what if you try your hardest and you still fail?
Yeah, what if I'm just not good enough?
Exactly.
And then you just don't even start.
Yeah, it's a way of avoiding confronting that failure.
But the thing is, and your sources really highlight, this failure is part of success.
It is.
It's not the opposite. It's like a stepping stone.
It is.
Think about all the people who have achieved great things.
Exactly.
They've all failed.
They've all had setbacks along the way.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling, she got tons of rejections before Harry Potter was published.
And Thomas Edison had loads of failed light bulbs.
So many light bulbs.
Yeah, exactly.
So failure is actually feedback.
Yes.
It's a way to learn.
It is.
Not a judgment on you.
Exactly. Your sources encourage us to reframe these setbacks as data points.
Okay.
So you didn't meet a sales target.
Yeah.
Analyze why a presentation didn't resonate.
Yeah.
Get some constructive criticism.
Right.
When you view failure as a teacher, it takes away its power.
It does. And also, what's the regret gonna be?
Yeah.
If I quit now because I'm scared of failing, I might regret that later.
Right.
What if I had just kept going?
Exactly.
So sometimes that fear of not even trying is bigger than the fear of failure.
Absolutely. And that leads us to this fifth strategy,
right? Which
is the importance of who you surround yourself with.
Oh yeah, your people.
Yeah, your people. We're social beings. We're influenced by our environment and the people we spend time with.
You know, if you're around people who are negative or discouraging, it's really hard to stay positive.
It is.
But if you're around enthusiastic and supportive people, it can really lift you up.
It can, and this isn't just anecdotal.
Right.
Your sources actually reference the Framingham Heart Study.
Okay.
Which remarkably demonstrated that things like happiness and even motivation can spread through social networks.
Oh, wow.
So it's like contagious positive energy.
So we need to really think about who we're spending time with.
Yeah. Take stock of your social circle.
Yeah.
Who encourages you.
Yeah.
Who celebrates your progress.
Yeah.
And who is critical or discouraging. And you don't have to cut people off.
Right.
But prioritize your time with the good people.
Okay. And what about finding people who are working towards similar goals?
Yes. Find your tribe.
Yeah.
You know, online forums, local clubs, workshops, connect with people who have similar aspirations.
It's really good to not feel alone, isn't it?
Yeah, you get that camaraderie.
Yeah.
You can share your experiences and learn from each other.
Yeah.
You're less likely to feel isolated.
Okay, so that's the people we surround ourselves with. What about the voice in our head?
Yes, the inner critic.
Yeah, because often that's the biggest barrier, isn't it?
It can be.
It's not even external, it's internal.
Yes, that internal voice can be very powerful.
Yeah.
And it can be a source of so much negativity.
Yeah, and especially when you're already feeling demotivated.
Yes.
It's like it just gets louder and it makes you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
It criticizes you and it just tells you to quit.
It says give up.
So how do we quiet that voice?
Well, the first step is to become aware of it.
Okay.
Notice that you're doing it.
Okay.
And your sources say don't try and suppress it.
Right.
Because that can backfire.
It can.
But notice the thoughts without judging them.
Okay.
Just observe them.
Right.
Like clouds passing in the sky.
Okay.
Then you need to challenge them.
Right.
If it says you're going to fail, counter it with something more positive.
Like, I've got this.
Yeah, I've done this before.
I can learn from my mistakes.
I can improve.
Okay, so I'm consciously reframing it.
Yes, and your sources also talk about third-person self-talk.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
What's that?
Well, instead of saying to yourself, I can do this.
Yeah.
Try saying, you've got this.
Oh, right. You've got this.
Yeah. Research by psychologist Ethan Kross suggests that this creates a psychological distance which reduces stress and actually boosts your resolve.
So it's like you're giving yourself advice.
Exactly. It's like getting advice from yourself, but from a more objective place.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. So we've talked about reframing our thoughts.
Yeah.
And that leads us quite nicely onto this next strategy from your sources, which is rest, don't quit.
Rest, don't quit.
Because sometimes that urge to give up is actually your body and mind telling you they need a break.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You need to rest.
But that's not a weakness, is it?
It's not. It's essential.
Okay.
Rest is a strategic necessity.
Okay, I like that.
If you push yourself relentlessly when you're burnt out, you're going to be counterproductive.
Okay, so what do we do? Schedule breaks?
Yeah, schedule breaks even before you feel completely depleted.
Right.
Use techniques like the Pomodoro technique, working in intervals with regular breaks. Even just stepping away for a few minutes to move around clear your head
Okay.
can make a big difference.
And if I'm properly burnt out.
If you're in a deeper state of exhaustion,
Yeah.
take a longer break,
Okay.
a day off a weekend
Right.
to disconnect and recharge.
Oh.
And you'll find when you return,
Yeah.
you'll have a fresh perspective.
Okay. So now that we're feeling refreshed,
Mm-hmm.
your sources talk about the power of visualization.
Yes.
And not just the finish line,
No.
but the journey.
The journey as well.
So this is more than just wishful thinking then.
It's more than just wishful thinking.
Okay.
There's a real psychological impact. Visualization helps to make your goals feel more tangible,
Yeah.
more attainable.
Okay.
Research in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology shows that
Mm-hmm.
vividly imagining a successful outcome
Yeah.
enhances your motivation
Okay.
and your belief in your ability to achieve it.
So picture yourself having achieved the goal.
Yes,
How does that feel?
exactly.
Okay. But also picture the steps along the way.
Yes. Visualize the process.
Okay.
Mentally rehearse taking those steps,
Okay.
overcoming obstacles,
Yeah.
getting those small wins.
So it makes it feel less abstract and more real.
It makes it feel more within your control.
Okay, so we've got the visualization.
Mhm.
What about actually tracking our progress?
Yes, that's a really good one.
It's practical, isn't it?
It is very practical.
But sometimes it's easy to forget to do it.
It is.
And it's really easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere
Yeah, if you don't have a way to measure it.
if you don't see it.
Yeah,
So track your progress,
track your progress.
however you want to do it.
Yeah, whether it's through a journal, a spreadsheet, a visual chart,
Yeah.
whatever works for you.
It's really good to have that visual, isn't it?
It is, because it provides concrete evidence of your efforts
Yeah.
and your achievements,
Yeah.
no matter how small.
Even the tiny things.
Yes, because seeing those numbers increase, seeing that to-do list shrink,
Yeah,
can give you a real boost.
it can.
It's a tangible reminder that you are moving forward.
And it also keeps you accountable, doesn't it?
It does, because you can see what's working
Yeah.
and what's not.
And it's harder to quit when you can see how far you've come.
It is.
Okay, so final strategy.
Yes.
Accepting that it's okay to pivot.
Yes.
Because sometimes that urge to quit
Yeah,
means that the goal is no longer right for us.
exactly.
Maybe things have changed
Life changes.
or our priorities have changed.
Your values, your desires, they evolve.
Yeah, and if we're holding on to a goal that's no longer right for us, it can be really demotivating.
It can be.
So sometimes we need to let go.
Sometimes we need to change direction.
And that's not failure, is it?
It's not, it's self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's courage.
Yeah.
It's strength.
It's growth.
Yeah.
So it's not giving up.
No.
Is having the wisdom to know when something's not right anymore.
Yes.
And the courage to redirect our energy.
Exactly.
So if you're in a job that is making you unhappy,
Yeah,
it's okay to leave.
it is.
Or if you've had a passion for something for years, but it's not there anymore,
Yeah.
it's okay to move on.
Yes, these are acts of self-respect.
And we deserve to be fulfilled, don't we?
We do.
So there we have it, the complete motivation toolkit.
Yes.
We talked about reconnecting with your,
Yeah.
breaking down goals,
Yeah.
building routines, reframing failure,
Yes.
surrounding yourself with the right people,
Yes.
mastering your inner dialogue,
Yes.
using rest visualization,
Yes.
tracking your progress, and pivoting when you need to. And the key message here is that motivation, it's not something you're born with or without.
No.
It's a set of strategies
Yeah.
that anyone can learn.
Yes.
So the next time you feel like giving up, remember, you don't have to use all of these at once.
Oh,
Just pick one.
pick one that resonates with you in that moment.
And give it a go.
Yeah, and often just taking that first step forward
Yeah.
is enough.
To reignite that spark.
Exactly.
And motivation often follows action.
it does.
We don't have to wait to feel motivated to start.
You don't.
We just need to start
And you will start to feel more motivated.
and think about the benefits of pushing through. You build resilience.
Yeah.
You cultivate grit.
Yes.
And you develop confidence.
confidence in your ability to achieve your goals.
So think about people who you really admire, who've achieved great things. Their journey wasn't always easy, was it?
No, it probably wasn't.
They had setbacks. They had doubts,
Yeah.
but they kept going.
They persevere.
And you can too.
Yes, you can.
The only difference between you and them is
Well.
time and persistence.
That's all. So keep going. Keep fanning those flames.
You've got this.
You've absolutely got this.
Yes.
Hello and welcome back to the Learn English Lab. I'm Mike and I'm so excited about our deep dive today.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about understanding American culture, which is such a rich topic. And, you know, I've been looking at these sources you shared, and it's almost overwhelming. Where do you even begin with something like this?
Right.
American culture, there's so many different things to consider.
Well, I think a good place to start, Mike, is by looking at the historical foundation. Thinking about the colonial era, for example. The impact of the Puritans really laid down some of those fundamental values, hard work, education, religious devotion. And you can really see how those ideas still resonate in American society today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely draw a straight line from those early influences to so many things that are happening even now. And of course, we can't talk about American culture without at least mentioning the American Revolution. I mean, that was like a cultural earthquake that really kind of...
Oh, yeah. It definitely solidified those core ideals of freedom, liberty, and democracy that are just so deeply embedded in American identity.
What's funny is that...
And one of your sources actually quotes from a letter written by Thomas Jefferson.
Well, let me guess, was it about individual liberty?
You got it.
Huh.
You've been doing your homework.
I've been peeking, I admit it.
But what's fascinating is that this idea of individual liberty that he was emphasizing wasn't just this abstract political principle. It really fueled that whole spirit of westward expansion, the frontier spirit that we always hear about.
Oh, this is what I find so fascinating.
There you go.
So you're telling me those pioneers, those cowboys, those settlers heading out west were really driven by this deep belief in individual freedom, self-reliance.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's like woven into their DNA.
And so that ties into this whole emphasis on individualism there.
Yes.
Personal achievement, carving your own path, the pursuit of happiness. I mean, these are classic American values.
Yeah, but one of your sources makes a really interesting point.
Yeah.
That this fierce individualism sometimes clashes with another core American ideal, and that's the ideal of equality.
That tension between the individual and the collective, it's something that we see throughout American history.
Right.
It's a constant kind of push and pull.
Yeah, and it plays out in so many different ways, everything from the civil rights movement to debates about social justice today. The concept of equality in America has been a journey and a long one.
It has been a journey. And, speaking of journeys, we can't overlook this huge concept of the American dream.
Right.
And I know you've been doing a ton of research on this, so I'm curious from what you've learned. Is it a myth? Is it a reality for some people, or is there something else going on here?
It is a tricky one, isn't it? It's so deeply embedded in the American psyche.
Yeah.
This idea that anyone, regardless of their background, can achieve success and prosperity through hard work and determination. But the reality, as your sources point out,
it is far more nuanced than that.
So give us the breakdown.
Okay, well, for one thing, the definition of the American dream itself seems to constantly be shifting.
Interesting.
One of your sources, a sociologist, actually argues that.
Oh, before you dive into that,
sure.
I'm curious. How does this notion of the American dream connect to those everyday aspects of American culture, like the way people communicate, or social norms?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it actually leads us perfectly into our next topic.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about that famous American directness in communication.
Yep.
Is it real, or is it just a stereotype?
All right, let's find out.
It's more than just a stereotype. I'd say Americans do tend to value clarity and efficiency.
Right.
So they'll often get right to the point, which can feel a little blunt to people from cultures that have a more indirect style,
It's funny because one of the articles you sent me actually talked about this.
And they were saying that this directness might actually be connected to that whole historical emphasis on individual liberty and self-reliance.
Yeah, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Those early settlers, they had to be clear and straightforward to get things done.
Totally. They're building communities, they're forging new paths, they're negotiating deals. They don't have time to...
No time for small talk.
Exactly. So if I'm trying to navigate this directness, any tips to avoid any kind of cultural missteps?
Well, I think the main thing to remember is that it's not meant to be rude. It's just a different way of communicating.
Okay.
And also be mindful of personal space.
Oh yeah, personal space, that's a big one.
Americans like to have a little bit of distance.
Okay, so what's a good rule of thumb? Like how much space are we talking about?
I'd say arm's length is a good starting point.
Okay.
But it can vary depending on the situation, who you're talking to.
Sure, the context.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know. And while we're on the subject of cultural norms,
can
we talk about tipping?
Oh, tip.
This is something that a lot of people find really confusing.
Yeah. I can see why.
So why is it so important in America?
Well, it's deeply embedded in the service industry here.
Wow.
A lot of servers, bartenders, other service workers actually rely on tips to make a living wage.
So it's almost like it's built into the system.
It kind of is.
Interesting. And it's not always obvious, who to tip, how much to tip.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky.
It could be a minefield.
One of your sources, that travel guide, actually breaks down all the different tipping amounts.
Oh, perfect. I'll definitely be checking that out.
It's a good resource.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about something a little more fun.
Okay.
American popular culture. I mean, American music, movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
They're known all over the world.
Global phenomenon.
Yeah. So what are some of the most iconic elements that are distinctly American?
Oh, where do we even begin? American music has had such a huge impact worldwide. I mean, think about jazz, blues, rock and roll, hip hop, country. These genres all originated in the US, and they've really shaped music globally.
I feel like American music has this incredible energy and this real ability to blend different cultural influences.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about movies and TV shows?
Well, Hollywood, for better or for worse, has become like this global entertainment powerhouse.
It has.
And American movies and TV shows, they often reflect American values, anxieties, dreams, even if they're sometimes a little exaggerated.
A little haha.
Yeah.
Okay, last question before we move on.
Okay.
I've talked about high culture. Now, let's talk about food.
All right.
Everyone knows the stereotypes: burgers, fries, apple pie.
Yeah.
But what are some truly iconic American dishes that really represent the country's diverse culinary landscape?
American food is so much more than just those stereotypes.
I'm glad to hear it.
One of your sources had a really interesting take on this.
Oh, yeah.
They were arguing that American cuisine is like a culinary time capsule, reflecting different waves of immigration and cultural exchange.
So it's kind of like a melting pot, just like American culture itself.
Exactly. You've got regional specialties like Southern barbecue, New England clam chowder, Tex-Mex Cajun food.
All so different.
Yeah, each with its own unique history and flavor profile.
And of course, you can't forget the influence of immigrant communities.
Huge impact.
Yeah, adding so many layers of flavor and diversity to American food.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. American culture isn't a monolith.
It's not.
Right. You've got regional differences, ethnic and racial diversity, different generations, all contributing to this bigger picture.
Yeah, it's multifaceted.
It is. So how does all of this complexity come together to make American culture what it is?
Well, that's the beauty of it. American culture is dynamic. It's constantly evolving. It's like a tapestry. It's not static. It's fluid. It's messy.
Yeah.
And it's always adapting to the changing times.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it so fascinating to explore.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this conversation has really highlighted just how many layers there are to unpack.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But hopefully, this deep dive has given you a better understanding of some of the key forces that have shaped American culture and continue to shape it today.
Absolutely. Speaking of forces, we can't ignore the impact of technology and innovation.
Right.
I mean, the U.S. has been a leader in technological advancement.
Sure.
And that's really had a huge influence on how Americans live, work, and interact.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Think about the invention of the telephone and the automobile, the rise of the internet and social media.
It's crazy how much things have changed.
It really is. American culture is deeply intertwined with the spirit of innovation and the pursuit of technological progress.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder about the future of American culture in this, rapidly changing digital world.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating question.
It is. That actually reminds me of another important institution, the American education system. How does that fit into this whole picture of American culture?
Education is incredibly valued in American culture. There's a strong belief in its power to open doors, create opportunities.
Makes sense.
The U.S. has this long tradition of public education, and there's this constant push to improve and innovate within the education system. One of your sources, a report on educational trends, actually makes the case that...
Well, before we dive into that report,
Sure.
I'm curious, what are some of the broader values or goals that the American education system aims to instill in students?
Well, it's not just about, rote learning or acquiring technical skills.
Okay.
There's a big emphasis on critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, and adaptability.
Oh, wow.
The goal is to equip students with the tools they need to navigate a world that's constantly changing.
So it's about fostering well-rounded individuals who can really contribute to society.
Exactly. And that includes not just in STEM fields, but also in the humanities, arts, and social sciences.
So it's about cultivating a diverse range of talents and perspectives.
Yes.
That seems to be a recurring theme in our conversation about American culture.
It is.
It's about embracing different points of view.
Yeah.
Fostering innovation, and constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Right.
We could talk about this forever.
We could.
But I think we've given our listeners a pretty good foundation to build upon.
I think so too.
Before we wrap things up, though, I have one final question.
Okay.
We've talked about all these different facets of American culture. The history, the values, the communication styles, the food, the technology, the education system.
Yeah.
But what about the intangible? What about that elusive American spirit we often hear about? What does it actually mean, and how does it show up in everyday life?
That's a tough one to really define. It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's this energy that you can feel. It runs through American history and culture.
Right.
It's this mix of optimism, resilience, a can-do attitude, and a belief in the power of individuals.
It's like this idea that anything is possible if you just work hard enough. Never give up that classic image of, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's it. It's self-reliance, determination, willingness to face challenges head on.
And you see it in those stories of immigrants who came to America with nothing.
Yes.
And built these amazing lives for themselves and their families.
Absolutely.
Or those entrepreneurs who start companies in their garages and turn them into, global businesses.
Right.
And even just everyday people who face really tough situations with so much courage.
It's inspiring.
It is. It's this belief in human potential.
Yeah.
And that you can overcome any obstacle if you put your mind to it.
That's the American spirit.
One of the articles you shared mentioned how this American spirit is often portrayed in literature and film.
Oh, that's so true. It's a recurring theme in American storytelling.
Yeah.
From classic novels like The Great Gatsby to more modern films like The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
They capture that belief in reinvention.
Yeah.
The pursuit of a better life.
It's a powerful narrative.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about how that narrative has evolved.
Right.
As the American experience itself has become more diverse and more complex.
It's not a static thing.
Right.
The American spirit, it's been shaped and reshaped by so many different groups of people and different historical events.
So it's not just something from the past, it's something that's constantly being redefined.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what keeps it relevant today.
Yeah.
It's not about clinging to the past.
Right.
It's about embracing innovation, adaptability.
Yeah.
And that resilience that's always been at the heart of the American experience.
I love that. This whole conversation has really highlighted just how dynamic American culture is.
It really is.
It's always changing. It's absorbing new influences.
Always evolving.
Yeah. It's pushing boundaries.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
Well, Sarah, this has been an incredible journey through American culture.
It has been.
I feel like we've covered so much ground.
We have.
But there's always more to explore.
There's always more to learn, for sure.
But we've given our listeners a great place to start.
A good foundation.
Yeah. And hopefully we've sparked their curiosity.
I hope so, too.
So to all of our listeners out there, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What aspects of American culture are you most intrigued by?
Right.
What questions do you still have after this deep dive?
Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Exactly. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more deep dives into fascinating topics.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today is, well, it's a beast.
It really is.
Usually, you know how we operate. We grab one specific topic, maybe it's the history of the steam engine or a new trend in AI, and we drill down until we hit bedrock.
We do. We go deep.
But today we are going wide and deep simultaneously. We have what I'm calling a super stack of sources on the table.
It is a massive stack. I spent the weekend wading through this, and honestly, it felt less like researching a topic and more like reading an instruction manual for the human experience.
That's a great way to put it. An instruction manual.
Yeah, we're looking at internal psychology. We've got the mechanics of motivation, the grounding power of nature, the technical skills of listening, and even cultural literacy. It's a lot.
It sounds like a lot, I know. And I get it. It sounds like we grabbed 5 different deep dives and just mashed them together. But as I was going through these articles, these research papers, and these guides, I realized they all fit together. They create this incredible toolkit.
A holistic guide.
Exactly. A holistic guide to upgrading your mind and your connection to the world.
That's the perfect way to frame it. Think of it as an operating system upgrade for the human. We're going to start inside your head, how to build confidence and keep yourself moving.
The internal engine.
The internal engine, yeah. And then we're going to move outward to how you connect with nature, how you connect with people through listening, and finally, how you understand the cultural water we're all swimming in, specifically looking at the American context as a case study.
Right. So while these seem distinct, they create this capable, grounded, connected person. And honestly, who doesn't want to be that person?
But everyone wants that, right?
All right, so let's jump right in. The mission today is to synthesize this diverse range of sources to give you, the listener, some serious aha moments and strategies you can use the second this deep dive ends.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack that internal engine first. We have this huge stack of research here on the science of confidence, and I want to start by challenging the word itself. Because confidence feels like one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around in like corporate seminars or self-help books, but nobody actually defines what it is. To me, it often looks like arrogance.
That's a really common misconception. A lot of people equate confidence with puffery, the loudest person in the room, the one interrupting everyone, the one who refuses to admit they're wrong.
Yeah, that guy.
But the psychological definition we're working with here is much more grounded. True confidence, according to the research, is defined as a realistic trust in your own abilities, your resilience, and your inherent worth.
Realistic trust. I like that. That's an interesting phrasing. It implies you aren't deluding yourself.
Exactly.
You aren't standing in front of a mirror telling yourself you're Superman when you can barely run a mile.
Precisely. It's data-driven self-assessment. And there's a key distinction the sources make that I think is vital for everyone to understand because it explains why you might feel like a rock star in one area of your life.
And a terrified child in another.
Yes, exactly. It's the difference between self-confidence and self-efficacy.
Okay, let's break that down because I definitely feel that split sometimes. I think everyone does.
So self-confidence is that general overall sense of, I got this. It's a broad feeling of worth. I am a capable person. But self-efficacy is task-specific.
Okay.
You might have high self-confidence generally. You like yourself, you feel capable. But if I ask you to land a commercial airliner right now, your self-efficacy is going to be 0.
Hopefully 0.
Yeah.
If it's higher than 0, I'm delusional and shouldn't be near a cockpit.
Exactly. But here is why that distinction matters so much. Self-efficacy is easier to build systematically. You can't just decide to have high self-confidence overnight. That's too abstract, right?
You can't just flip a switch.
But you can build self-efficacy in specific domains like public speaking or cooking or coding, and that aggregates into overall confidence. And here's where it gets really interesting for me.
What's that?
Confidence is not a fixed trait. You aren't just born with it or without it. A 2018 study on emotional stability showed that while, personality plays a role, confidence fluctuates. It's dynamic. It changes based on your internal state and your external experiences.
That is good news. I mean, that's really good news. It means we can hack it, we can engineer it. If it's a variable state, we can change the variable.
They can fill the levers.
And that leads us to the psychology. The sources bring up Albert Bandura, who is basically
the godfather of this field.
Exactly, the godfather. He outlined 4 sources of self-efficacy, and I want to spend some real time here because this is basically the blueprint. This is the how-to.
Right. Bandura's model is so robust. The first and by far the most powerful source is what he calls mastery experiences.
This is the small wins concept, right?
Yep.
But push back on me here. Isn't small wins just a nice way of saying lower your standards?
That's a great question, but no, not at all. It's about recalibrating your feedback loop. Think about it. Success breeds success. When you achieve something, even something tiny, it acts like a mental callus.
A callus. I like that metaphor.
You're proving to your brain with hard evidence that you are competent. It's like leveling up in a video game. You don't jump to the final boss on day one.
No, you get destroyed.
You'd get destroyed. You grind through the lower levels to build your stats. If you try to fight the final boss immediately and lose, you aren't learning. You're just getting crushed and reinforcing the idea that you can't win.
So if I want to write a novel and I sit down to write chapter 1 and I stare at a blank page for 4 hours, I'm actually damaging my confidence.
Yes, absolutely. You are reinforcing the narrative that I cannot do this. But if your goal for the day is write one good paragraph and you do it,
and you get a little win.
You get a hit of dopamine, which we'll talk about in a second, and you have a data point, a piece of evidence that says, I am a writer.
Okay, that clicks.
Yeah.
It really clicks. So mastery experiences are personal evidence. What's number 2?
Number 2 is vicarious learning. This is seeing people similar to yourself succeed.
Similar to yourself, that's the key, isn't it? Because I look at someone like Elon Musk or Oprah, and their success doesn't necessarily make me feel like I can do it. Sometimes it just makes me feel inadequate.
Exactly. That's the trap of the hero model. It's a real psychological phenomenon. If the person you are watching is too different from you, different background, different resources, different starting line, their success feels abstract. It feels, like you said, like a superhero, like magic.
Yeah, totally unachievable.
But if you see a colleague, someone with the same education, the same messy desk, the same struggles, if you see them nail a presentation,
okay.
It makes success feel concrete. It creates a model your brain can latch onto. It says, if they can do it, the path exists for me too. It's suddenly possible.
So role models matter, but maybe we need to look for role models who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of us, not 10 miles ahead.
Precisely. Relatability is the mechanism of action there. It's all about closing the perceived gap.
Okay, number 3, social persuasion. This sounds like a fancy way of saying compliments.
It is, but with a massive caveat. It
Right.
has to be genuine and specific. Empty praise, telling someone good job when they did a mediocre job actually backfires.
Why? I would thought it would just make them feel good for a second.
For a second, maybe. But deep down, we know when we've underperformed. If you tell me I did a great job when I know I didn't, I lose trust in your judgment. I start to think you're just being nice, or worse, that you have really low standards.
I see. So it undermines your credibility.
Totally. But when someone you respect looks you in the eye and says, hey, I saw how you handled that difficult client. You stayed calm when they were shouting and you pivoted the conversation back to the data. That was a high-level negotiation tactic.
Oh, I see. That's specific. It's evidence-based praise. You're pointing to a concrete action.
Right. It rewires your self-view because it points out a strength you might not have even noticed in yourself. It's like getting a positive external audit of your ability.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. And the 4th one?
The 4th is emotional and physiological states. This is literally listening to your body.
This is the sweaty palms, racing heart stuff before you go on stage.
Yes. But it's all about interpretation. That's the crucial part. If your heart is racing and your palms are sweating before a big event, your brain has a choice.
A choice. It feels pretty automatic to me.
It feels automatic, but you can train it. It can interpret that data as, I am terrified, I am in danger, I need to run. Or it can interpret it as, I am revved up, I am excited, I am ready to perform.
But it's the same biological signal, though, right? Adrenaline is adrenaline.
Chemically, it's very similar. But the narrative you attach to it, the story you tell yourself about the feeling, dictates your confidence level. If you can reframe anxiety as arousal or excitement, you keep your cognitive faculties online. You stay in control.
That connects perfectly to the biology side of things. The sources go deep into the neuroscience here, specifically this battle between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. It sounds like a corporate power struggle inside the skull.
It basically is. The prefrontal cortex is the CEO. It's rational, it plans, it predicts success based on data and past experiences.
The executive function.
Exactly. And the amygdala is the security guard or the alarm system. It's constantly scanning for threats, for social rejection, for failure. It's primitive.
And the alarm system is loud.
Very loud. And it has veto power. When the amygdala is overactive, when it senses high uncertainty or high stakes, it can hijack the brain. It floods the system with stress hormones.
The famous amygdala hijack.
That's it. It shuts down the CEO to prioritize survival. That's when you go blank in an interview. You know the answer, but you can't access it.
I hate that feeling. The deer in headlights.
That's the hijack. But neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, tells us we can train the CEO to quiet the alarm. We can strengthen the connection so the CEO can say, thank you for the warning, but we have this handled.
And chemicals play a huge role here, too. Let's talk about dopamine. We usually think of it as just the pleasure chemical, scrolling social media or eating chocolate. But the sources say it's crucial for confidence.
It's the currency of confidence. A 2020 study actually linked high dopamine baselines to higher confidence levels.
Wow.
Dopamine is the reward chemical, yes, but it's also the anticipation chemical. That's key. When you succeed, or even when you vividly anticipate success, your brain releases dopamine. This reinforces the behavior. It's a chemical vote of confidence from your own brain.
So when we talked about mastery experiences earlier, those small wins, we are basically engineering little dopamine shots. We're training our brain.
Exactly. You are chemically conditioning your brain to associate effort with reward. You're building a positive feedback loop, one little win at a time.
There was also a mention of hormones, this dance between testosterone and cortisol. Now, I always thought testosterone was just about aggression or, gym bros. But it plays a role in confidence for everyone, right?
Everyone, men and women. Testosterone is often linked to risk tolerance and status-seeking behavior assertiveness, essentially. Cortisol is the stress hormone.
The bad guy.
Well, you need it for survival, but yeah, in this context, it's the inhibitor. A 2019 study showed that a balanced ratio higher testosterone and lower cortisol predicts higher confidence. So it's not just in your mind, it's in your blood.
So if we have all this machinery for confidence, if it's just biology and psychology and we have the blueprint, why do so many of us struggle? Why is there this confidence gap?
This is where we have to look at nurture and society. One of the biggest factors is childhood. There's a massive body of research on how we are praised.
This is the growth mindset stuff, Carol Dweck's work.
Exactly. There's a huge difference between praising effort, you worked really hard on that puzzle, and praising innate talent. You are so smart.
But wait, telling a kid they're smart sounds like a good thing. I mean, it's a compliment. How does that backfire?
It backfires because it makes smart a fixed label you have to protect. If I succeed because I am smart, then if I struggle with a new hard math problem, what does that imply?
That you're not smart anymore.
Exactly. So to protect that identity, I stop trying. I avoid hard things. I lose confidence the moment things get difficult. But if I'm praised for effort, a hard math problem is just an opportunity to work harder. It doesn't threaten my identity at all.
That is terrifyingly relatable. I think a lot of us are recovering gifted kids who are terrified of not being the smartest person in the room.
It creates a fragile confidence. And then you layer on societal factors. The sources highlight significant gender differences. A 2014 study highlighted that women often underestimate their abilities compared to men, even when their performance is identical.
Why is that? Is it biological?
The consensus is that it's largely socialization. There are cultural pressures regarding humility, perfectionism, and the penalty for being wrong. Men are often socialized to fake it till they make it, to jump in, while women are often socialized to be perfect before they speak up.
Which brings us to perfectionism. The sources call it a form of paralysis.
A 2021 study links high perfectionism to procrastination and paralysis. If your standard is flawless, you never start. Because nothing can be flawless on the first try.
And this feeds right into imposter syndrome.
The perfect storm. That feeling that you're a fraud despite all evidence to the contrary. It was identified way back in 1978, but it feels more relevant than ever in the social media age where everyone is presenting a perfect, curated life.
Okay, so we know the problem, we know the mechanics, we know the enemies. Let's get to the toolkit. The sources provided 8 really actionable strategies to hack this system. I want to run through these because they're gold. Strategy 1, stack wins.
This goes right back to Bandura. A 2017 study showed gradual progress beats intensity. Don't go for the home run. Just get on base. List 3 small, achievable tasks daily. Check them off. Watch that list grow. You are feeding your brain data that says, I am effective.
It's so simple, but it works. Strategy 2, reframe failure.
Failure is data. That's the mantra. A 2022 study showed that reducing self-criticism and viewing failure as objective feedback makes you more resilient. It's not, I am a failure. It's, that approach failed. Let's try another one.
I have to play devil's advocate here. Intellectually, I get failure is data. I love that phrase. But emotionally, it sucks. When I bomb a presentation, I'm not thinking, oh, look at this fascinating data. I'm thinking, I want to crawl into a hole.
Of course.
How do we actually bridge that gap between the intellectual understanding and the gut feeling?
You're right. It hurts. You can't turn off the pain completely, but you can shorten the refractory period. The goal isn't to not feel bad. It's to not stay there.
No.
Allow yourself to feel bad for an hour. Journal about it. Talk to a friend. But then force the cognitive switch. You ask analytical questions. What variable was wrong? Was it the slides? Was it the audience? Was it my timing? Was I not prepared enough? By turning it into an analytical problem, you move blood flow back to the prefrontal cortex, the CEO, and away from the emotional centers. You become a detective, not a victim.
Okay, that's practical. I can do that. Strategy 3, harness the body. This is the Amy Cuddy stuff. Power posing. Now, I know there was some controversy about whether this actually changes hormones.
There was a lot of back and forth on the hormonal data, whether it truly spikes testosterone in a meaningful way. However, a 2023 meta-analysis confirmed that standing tall and taking up space, what they call postural feedback, does consistently boost self-reported confidence.
So you feel more confident even if your blood chemistry isn't radically different.
Exactly. The subjective feeling, the I feel powerful, is real. And that feeling influences your behavior. If you act big, you tend to feel bigger. It's a feedback loop.
Got it. Strategy 4, visualize success.
Mental rehearsal. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Psychology showed that visualization activates similar neural pathways to actually doing the task. Athletes do this constantly. They don't just practice on the field. They practice in their minds.
So if I have a big interview, I should play the movie of it going perfectly in my head.
In detail. Visualize walking in, the firm handshake, the confident answers, the positive reaction. The prefrontal cortex starts to believe it's possible, which calms the amygdala's fear of the unknown.
Strategy 5, curate your circle.
Social persuasion again, but proactively. A 2020 study in Social Psychology Quarterly confirmed that positive peer feedback is crucial. If your friends tear you down, or even if they're just neutral and indifferent, your confidence will tank. You need to surround yourself with people who see your potential, sometimes before you see it yourself.
They're your external belief system.
That's a great way to put it.
Strategy 6, tame the inner critic.
Use cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, techniques on yourself. When that voice says, you're going to screw this up, treat it like a prosecutor in court. Ask for evidence.
Objection, Your Honor. Where is the proof?
Exactly. Where's the hard data to support that claim? Usually the evidence isn't there. It's just fear masquerading as fact.
I love that. Strategy 7, act as if.
A 2021 study showed that assertive behavior changes self-perception. Sometimes you have to wear the costume of confidence before you feel it underneath. Speak up in the meeting, even if your voice is shaking. Go to the party, even if you feel awkward.
Fake it till you become it.
Well, it's more like act it till you become it. You change the behavior and the feelings eventually follow. It's behavioral activation.
And finally, strategy 8, train your brain.
Mindfulness and meditation. A 2023 study showed this directly regulates the amygdala. If you can calm the fear center through consistent practice, confidence has more room to grow. It's like weeding the garden so the flowers can bloom.
That is a massive toolkit. But here's the thing, and this is a big transition point. You can have all the confidence in the world. You can believe you can do it. But if you don't have the drive to actually get off the couch and do it, you're just a confident car with no gas. This leads us to the second pillar of our super stack, the mechanics of motivation.
Right. Because motivation is slippery, isn't it? We've all felt that New Year's resolution energy on January 1st. You buy the gym shoes, you throw out the junk food, you feel unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. And then, inevitably, January 15th comes around. Or maybe January 5th.
And the shoes are in the closet and the pizza's on the table. Why does that happen? Every single time.
It's the great mystery.
The sources call this the dopamine dip. It's pure biology. Novelty triggers dopamine. Starting something new is exciting because it's new, but when the novelty wears off, the dopamine drops, and what was exciting becomes work, effort.
That's the dip.
That's the dip, and that is where most people quit.
And if you hit setbacks during that dip, say you go to the gym and you hurt your back, or you try a new diet and gain a pound, you risk something called learned helplessness.
That's a really dangerous psychological state. It comes from these classic animal studies where subjects were exposed to negative stimuli they couldn't escape. Eventually, they stopped trying to escape even when the door was open.
They just gave up.
They gave up. In humans, repeated setbacks lead us to believe that effort is pointless. Why bother? I'll just fail again. You stop trying because the brain decides the outcome is rigged against you.
So how do we treat motivation? If we can't rely on that initial spark, what do we rely on? The sources say we need to stop treating it like a random mood and start treating it like a muscle.
Yes. It's a skill to be strengthened, not an emotion to be waited for. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You build a structure that generates it regardless of how you feel.
One way to do that is to re-examine the why. But the sources are specific here. Vague goals don't work, do they?
They're useless. I want to lose weight is a weak why. It's too abstract. The brain can't latch onto it emotionally, but I want to be able to play tag with my kids in the park without getting winded and having to sit down after 2 minutes. That's a strong why.
It's visual. It's emotional.
It's emotional. It anchors the hard work to a feeling of love and connection. You need to make that why visible. Write it on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror.
And then there's the micro goal strategy again. This is about breaking paralysis, right?
Yeah.
It's the same principle as building confidence.
It's exactly the same. If your goal is write a book, that's terrifying. The amygdala sees write a book and screams, impossible, danger, run away.
I've been there.
But if your goal is write 200 words, that's easy. It's not intimidating. You do the 200 words, you get a small dopamine hit for completing a task. And often, the hardest part, just starting, is over. So you keep going. It's about shrinking the barrier to entry until it's so small you can't say no.
I love the idea of habit stacking, too. This is the James Clear Atomic Habits philosophy, which is all over these sources.
It's brilliant because it removes decision fatigue. You don't have to decide when to meditate. The rule is, after I brush my teeth, I will stretch for 2 minutes. You don't have to think about it. The toothbrush triggers the stretch.
You bypass the need for willpower.
Completely. You're hooking a new desired habit onto an old established one.
We also have to reframe failure again here. The sources mention Edison, J.K. Rowling. These classic examples.
It's about understanding the difference between the regret of not trying versus the fear of failing. Most people, when they look back on their lives, regret the things they didn't do much more than the things they tried and failed at.
The chances you didn't take.
Exactly. Failure is just feedback. It's a stepping stone. It's proof you're in the arena.
I found the social contagion part fascinating. The Framingham Heart Study. What was that about?
This is wild. This study followed thousands of people over decades, and they found that things like obesity, smoking, and even happiness spread through social networks like a virus.
So your friends can literally make you happy.
Statistically, yes. If your direct friends are motivated and happy, you are significantly more likely to be motivated and happy. Finding your tribe isn't just a social thing, it's a productivity hack. You are outsourcing some of your willpower to the group.
That's powerful. And managing the inner voice, there's a specific trick here called third-person self-talk. It sounds a little weird.
It does, but the research by Ethan Kross is solid. He found that when people talk to themselves using, like, I can do this, they are still immersed in their own stress.
Okay.
But if you use your name, or you can do this, Dave, it creates psychological distance. It allows you to coach yourself like you would a friend. It reduces the emotional load and improves performance under pressure.
It sounds a little crazy to talk to yourself in the third person, but if it works.
LeBron James does it. A lot of high performers do it. It's just a cognitive trick to get out of your own head and into a more objective, supportive perspective.
Finally, on motivation. Rest and pivot.
This is so crucial. In our hustle culture, we think rest is weakness. We think if we aren't grinding 24/7, we're failing. The sources are clear. Rest is a strategic necessity.
Like for an athlete.
Exactly. Your muscles grow when you rest, not when you lift. The same applies to neural pathways and motivation. And pivoting, changing your goal, isn't quitting. If the path is wrong, turning around is an act of self-respect, not failure.
Okay, so we've revved the engine with confidence. We've fueled it with motivation. Now we need to make sure the driver us doesn't burn out. We need grounding. Part 3 is all about mindfulness and nature.
The maintenance plan.
Yes, the maintenance plan. And I want to be skeptical here for a second. Is mindfulness just feeling zen? Or is there hard science here?
It is absolutely hard science. The sources are staggering. We aren't just talking about feeling relaxed. We are talking about systemic, measurable, physiological changes.
Like what?
Well, Harvard Medical School studies show it lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It literally changes the brain structure, strengthening the prefrontal cortex, our CEO again, and improving working memory and cognitive flexibility.
And physical health. I saw mentions of that.
Yeah, it links to immune system strength. It even changes pain perception. This is fascinating. You still feel the sensation of pain, but the brain's reaction to it changes. There's less suffering attached to the sensation.
And sleep. I struggle with sleep. And the racing mind is the absolute enemy.
Huge for sleep. A big study in JAMA Internal Medicine showed mindfulness practice helps quiet that racing mind, regulating the natural cycles of cortisol and melatonin. If you can't sleep, mindfulness might be better than a pill because it treats the root cause, the hyperactive mind, rather than just sedating you.
Now let's take that mindfulness outside. The sources here took a really interesting angle on nature. They used an English learner guide to nature vocabulary to reveal some deep truths.
I loved this approach. Sometimes seeing things through the lens of a learner makes them clearer. The guide breaks down activities by their vibe. Hiking implies a physical challenge. Gardening implies nurturing and unplugging. The words we use matter.
I want to touch on something that stood out in the notes because it seems so simple, but it actually blew my mind. It was the section on labeling your experience in nature.
The language part.
Yes. It suggests that the specific words we use to describe a walk in the woods actually change the hormonal response we get from it. That sounds like magic, not science.
It's cognitive framing. It's the same principle we saw with reframing anxiety. Think about it. You go for a walk. If you tell yourself, I'm just killing time and I'm just getting my steps in, your brain treats it as a utility, a chore.
Right, checking the box.
But if you consciously use more powerful words from this guide, like majestic, invigorating, or restorative, you are priming your brain to look for evidence of those things.
So if I say this walk is awe-inspiring, my brain starts hunting for awe.
Exactly. And the emotion of awe is potent. There's research showing it physically lowers inflammation in the body. So by expanding your vocabulary from nice walk to an awe-inspiring trek, you are literally upgrading the health benefit of the activity.
That is incredible. And the holistic benefits of nature are undeniable.
Physically, you get cardio. Mentally, you get grounding, and stress relief cortisol levels physically drop when you are in a forest. It's called forest bathing in Japan. Socially, things like camping build teamwork and shared memories. It hits every level.
Okay, so we are grounded, we are confident, we are motivated. Now we have to interact with other people. Part 4 is the art of connection, specifically advanced listening and empathy.
This is the bridge between the self and the world. And the sources break this down into 2 parts. A technical skill, how to actually decode sound, and a relational skill, how to make someone feel heard.
Let's start with the technical. This source was geared toward advanced English learners, but the lessons apply to everyone. I mean, how often do we mishear people even in our native language?
Constantly. The challenge is speed, compression, slang, and what linguists call connected speech. We don't speak like robots. We don't say, I am going to go to the store.
We say, I'm going to go to the store, or gonna go store.
Or GD yet for did you eat yet? The sources give us 7 secrets to mastery for decoding this.
Let's run through the big ones. Secret 1, broaden intake.
Don't just listen to one thing. Mix a fast-paced comedy with the slow, deliberate BBC News. The exercise here is brilliant. Watch a show like Friends, specifically that classic we were on a break scene, with subtitles on, then off. Switch from visual reading to purely auditory processing. Train your ear to catch the sounds without the crutch of the text.
Secret 2, connected speech. We touched on this.
The technique they recommend is shadowing, repeating immediately after the speaker like an echo to feel the rhythm in your own mouth. You have to physically feel how the words blend together to understand them.
Secret 3, contextual prediction. This sounds interesting.
This is top-down listening. You use the situation to guess the words. If you are watching Harry Potter and Dumbledore uses a low, serious tone, your brain predicts words like danger, warning, or darkness. You don't need to hear every single syllable because the context fills in the gaps for you.
You're anticipating, not just receiving.
Precisely.
Okay, and secret 5, active engagement.
Differentiating hearing from listening. Hearing is passive, listening is active. The source used an example from The Crown, the line, "Duty comes before love." The goal isn't just to hear those words, but to summarize the meaning. Can you explain the implication of that sentence? That's real listening.
Now, moving to the relational side, the art of listening. This is where most of us fail, right? We think listening is just waiting for my turn to speak.
That's the biggest barrier. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. They are rehearsing their comeback, their perfect response, while the other person is still talking.
So how do we fix that? What's the first step?
It starts with presence. Genuine presence, eye contact, no phones, silencing that internal to-do list that's scrolling through your brain. But then it moves to active participation.
Paraphrasing, is that what that means?
Yes. So what you're saying is, or if I'm hearing you correctly, it proves you're tracking, but more importantly, it forces you to actually process what they said and asking open-ended questions like, tell me more about that, instead of yes or no questions.
And step 3 is thoughtful response.
Validate before you solve. This is key. I hear that as frustrating, or that sounds incredibly difficult. Most people skip this and jump straight to fixing the problem. Oh, your car broke. You should call this mechanic. But often the person just wants to be heard. They want empathy, not a strategy.
But empathy can be draining. The sources warn about empathy fatigue.
It's very real. Nurses, therapists, social workers get this a lot. You can burn out from absorbing too much emotion. You need boundaries.
So how do you show you care without taking on their whole problem?
The sources use a great metaphor. It's the difference between being in a hole with someone versus throwing them a rope. You want to throw them the rope. You can care deeply without taking ownership of someone else's problems.
And societally, empathy breaks down us versus them thinking, which is the perfect segue to our final section. We're taking all these skills, observation, listening, context, and applying them to a massive, complex case study, understanding American culture.
This is where we context switch. If you want to understand the United States, whether you are visiting, doing business, or just watching their movies, you have to look at the historical foundations. You can't understand the behavior without the history.
And it all starts with the Puritans, right? That seems so long ago.
It does, but the roots are deep. The roots of hard work, education, and intense religious devotion. Even if an American today isn't religious, that Protestant work ethic, the idea that idleness is a sin and work is a virtue, is deeply embedded in the culture. It helps explain why Americans work longer hours and take less vacation than most Europeans.
And then the frontier. The Wild West.
A huge impact. Thomas Jefferson's letters on liberty fueled that westward expansion, the cowboy, the pioneer, that spirit of self-reliance. The idea that you are out there on the prairie and nobody is coming to save you, you have to fix your own wagon.
That explains the intense individualism.
Exactly. The core tension in America, according to these sources, is individualism versus equality. There is a constant clash between the value of personal achievement, me doing my best, me getting rich, and the value of collective fairness and a social safety net.
Let's talk about communication style. Americans are known for being direct, sometimes brutally so.
Very direct. Get to the point. What's the bottom line? In some cultures, like in parts of Asia or Latin America, this is seen as rude or aggressive. But in the American context, it's rooted in that settler history. Efficiency was survival. We don't have time for a 20-minute preamble. We have a farm to run.
So it's not about being mean. It's about respecting the other person's time.
That's the cultural intention behind it, yeah.
And tipping. The confusing nightmare of tipping for anyone visiting.
It confuses everyone, but it's embedded in the economics of the service industry. It's a decentralized reward system. It puts the power in the consumer's hand to reward good service, which ties back to that capitalist, individualist ideal of meritocracy. If you work hard, you get paid more directly from the customer.
And finally, the American spirit. What do the sources say defines that?
At its core, it's defined by optimism, the can-do attitude. And maybe most importantly, reinvention. In America, your past doesn't have to dictate your future. You can go bankrupt and start a new company. You can fail and run for office again. Think of The Great Gatsby or The Pursuit of Happiness. It's this dynamic culture that is constantly evolving through diversity and this belief in a second act.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from the neurons in your brain firing dopamine to make you confident, to the strategies that keep you motivated when that dopamine fades.
From the micro to the macro.
Yeah. We've grounded ourselves in nature to lower cortisol. We've learned to listen, technically and empathetically, to build bridges with other people.
Yeah.
And we've looked at how history and culture shape the world around us.
It's a journey from the inside out. All the pieces of that instruction manual we talked about at the start.
Here is my challenge to you, the listener. Don't just let this wash over you. We covered a lot today. A real super stack. Pick one tool, just one.
Make it small.
Make it small. Maybe it's the power pose for 60 seconds before your next meeting. Maybe it's describing your walk in nature as majestic instead of fine. Maybe it's trying to watch 5 minutes of Friends with the subtitles off. Use it immediately.
Self-improvement and understanding aren't destinations. They are choices made moment by moment, one small action at a time.
Precisely. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.
Take